Institut Semen dan Beton Indonesia, atau ISBI adalah lembaga yang didirikan oleh Industri Semen anggota Asosiasi Semen Indonesia. Kegiatan ISBI meliputi pendidikan dan pelatihan, konsultan teknik, audit lingkungan dan energi, serta penelitian dan pengembangan. Gedung ISBI diresmikan oleh Menteri Perindustrian dan Perdagangan Republik Indonesia pada tanggal 24 Agustus 1998. Dalam perkembangannya, ISBI telah menyediakan layanan konsultasi teknik dan pelatihan tidak hanya untuk industri semen, tetapi juga untuk industri lainnya seperti industri nikel, pembangkit listrik, pertambangan, dan industri baja. Misi kami adalah membantu pemerintah dan swasta sesuai kebutuhannya dalam mewujudkan industri di Indonesia yang mandiri, sehingga mengurangi ketergantungannya terhadap pihak asing. Misi kami adalah menyediakan layanan teknis dan pelatihan berkualitas tinggi untuk industri nasional, berdasarkan teori yang didukung dengan pengalaman di lapangan. Hingga sekarang, ISBI telah memiliki banyak riwayat pelayanan teknis dan pengembangan sumber daya manusia, di antaranya dalam bidang konsultasi keteknikan, desain, perhitungan, dan simulasi dengan metode komputasi dinamika fluida pada banyak pabrik semen di Indonesia. Manfaat yang diperoleh adalah peningkatan derajat kalsinasi dan efisiensi pembakaran, sehingga kapasitas produksi klinker meningkat dan menurunkan konsumsi bahan bakar.
Contoh permasalahan yang pernah kami selesaikan yaitu proses kalsinasi raw mill pada ILC dan CLC tidak sama, sehingga menyebabkan produksi klinker pada pabrik semen Padang Indra 4 tidak berjalan dengan stabil. Kami melakukan analisis, simulasi, dan modifikasi aliran material yang telah diterapkan dan terbukti dapat menyelesaikan permasalahan tersebut, sehingga proses produksi dapat berjalan dengan stabil.
Upaya peningkatan kinerja PEN pada Semen Holcim Indonesia pabrik Cilacap dan Narogong, sehingga dapat menurunkan konsumsi energi listrik. Proses desain dan pengawasan dilakukan oleh ISBI. Adapun pembuatan dan pengujiannya dilakukan sepenuhnya oleh workshop dalam negeri, sehingga biayanya jauh lebih murah dan waktu pengerjaannya lebih singkat.
Di samping itu, keberhasilan ISBI lainnya dalam jasa keteknikan diantaranya
di bidang jasa konstruksi berupa kegiatan ISBI dalam desain dan pengawasan proyek peningkatan kualitas batu bara pada industri pertambangan di Indonesia. Jasa elektrifikasi pemasangan 11 unit gantry crane PT Pelindo 2 di Pelabuhan Tanjung Priok dengan hasil yang memuaskan. Pengadaan dan pemasangan timbangan digital untuk mengendalikan laju penggunaan batu bara di pembangkit listrik tenaga uap milik perusahaan listrik negara yang berlokasi di Sanggau, Kalimantan Barat. Di bidang jasa audit lingkungan dan audit energi diantaranya pada industri semen, industri minyak dan gas, pembangkit listrik, dan industri penambangan. Audit lingkungan diantaranya di PT Semen Tonasa, Semen Tuban, Semindo Gemilang, dan Chevron Indonesia. Audit lingkungan merupakan salah satu syarat yang diwajibkan untuk perusahaan yang memanfaatkan limbah B3, sesuai dengan Peraturan Kementerian Lingkungan Hidup Nomor 3 Tahun 2013, dengan tujuan meminimalisir dampak dan risiko pencemaran lingkungan hidup. Kegiatan audit lingkungan meliputi evaluasi secara sistematik, terdokumentasi, periodik dan objektif tentang bagaimana suatu kinerja organisasi, sistem manajemen dan peralatan, dan memberikan rekomendasi kepada manajemen perusahaan untuk meningkatkan kinerja pengelolaan lingkungan hidup. ISBI juga memiliki pengalaman melakukan audit energi pada beberapa pabrik di Indonesia, di antaranya Semen Indonesia Group, meliputi pabrik Tuban, Padang dan Tonasa. Selain itu, juga pada pembangkit listrik tenaga panas bumi derajat maupun Gunung Salak milik PT Star Energi. Audit energi mencakup upaya peningkatan efisiensi energi, baik energi panas maupun energi listrik. Hasil dari audit energi berupa evaluasi dan rekomendasi agar penggunaan energi panas dan listrik lebih efisien. ISBI juga telah banyak melakukan pelatihan teknis, di antaranya training 3-in-1 yang bekerja sama dengan Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Industri, Kementerian Perindustrian. Training 3-in-1 telah dilaksanakan di hampir seluruh pabrik semen di Indonesia. Pelatihan dilakukan dengan menggunakan kurikulum dan modul yang mengacu pada kebutuhan industri. Training dilakukan dengan metode penyampaian materi di dalam ruangan kelas, praktik dengan melihat kondisi langsung di lapangan, hingga berdiskusi langsung dengan operator terkait kendala pengendalian proses produksi yang dihadapi. Pelatihan dengan menghadirkan instruktur profesional pada bidangnya. Setelah mengikuti pelatihan ini, para peserta siap untuk mengikuti uji kompetensi dalam proses sertifikasi. Pelatihan keselamatan dan kesehatan kerja. Pelatihan juga meliputi penanganan api apabila terjadi pada lingkungan kerja. ISBI juga melakukan riset dan pengembangan simulasi pabrik, di antaranya simulasi proses pabrik menggunakan neraca massa dan energi pada berbagai pabrik semen. Beberapa hasil riset sudah dipresentasikan dalam jurnal internasional bereputasi tinggi misalnya Elsevier dan Akta Politeknika. ISBI juga telah mengembangkan simulator pabrik semen untuk proses penggilingan batu bara, kemudian sedang dikembangkan untuk proses kiln, raw mill, dan semen mill. Selain dapat digunakan untuk melatih kemampuan dan keterampilan operator, simulator ini juga dapat dimanfaatkan untuk optimalisasi proses operasi. Simulator ini merupakan simulator untuk industri semen yang pertama kali dikembangkan di Indonesia. Klien kami, antara lain,
The quadax 4-offset metal-to-metal butterfly valve is designed for a wide range of extreme applications. These include those involving technical gases, LNG and LPG systems and low temperatures, as well as cryogenic applications, solar thermal energy, power generation, pulp and paper, refineries and petrochemicals, oxygen applications, district heating, and a whole lot more. Wherever the highest level of long-term tightness is required, despite high or low temperatures and pressure differences, you can benefit from a cost-saving process with maximum safety for the entire installation. Our butterfly valve is designed for both on-off and control applications. The term offset refers to every distance, angle or deviation to a central physical point. So what are the 3 offsets? First, the turning point of the disc is axially offset along the direction of the pipe. Second, the turning point of the disc is radially offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge. Third, the seat has a conical shape where the tip of the cone is offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge. Therefore, by definition, all triple offset valves with a circular basis cone result in an elliptical narrow seat in the valve body. The quadax 4-offset butterfly valve design has an elliptical output cone. The cut at a specific angle results in a rounder and thus larger sealing area with uniform material thickness. With the benefit of higher CV values, lower torques, friction-free operation, no wear on the sealing area during the closing process, and a homogeneous expansion and shrinking of the sealing materials. This is the ideal design to easily handle extreme delta T values by ensuring reliable tightness. The valve is available for temperature ranges from -270 to 800 degrees Celsius or -454 to +1472 degrees Fahrenheit and up to DN 1800 or 72 inches. It is tight in both directions up to a full pressure of 160 bar and 2320 psi. Apart from the material selection, the media can also be managed with zero leakage by using different fully laminated stainless steel sealings or with a patented Inconel O-ring for the most demanding applications. All of them are completely round. A floating disc and a shaft with no deflection when faced with high-pressure media complements the 4-offset design. This design allows handling of the most extreme pressure ranges and delta T values by ensuring that the valve is always 100% tight. The 4 main benefits provided by quadax are safe use in even the most extreme temperatures, increased operation safety with reduced risk, no wear and longer service life, superior and longer tightness, reduced operating costs due to higher CVs, lower torques and a longer service life. These advantages guarantee 100% tightness, a longer lifetime and therefore lower total ownership costs. We comply with the highest quality standards and certifications to meet the most demanding international requirements. If you cannot find the certificate you require on our website, then simply get in contact with us. The quadax valve is made in Germany using 5-axis machining centers that meet the highest demands on casting quality and precision in product production. The high degree of accuracy during the assembly and testing process for a guaranteed quality product makes quadax the most innovative solution on the valve market. Quadax 4 offset butterfly valves, precision made in Germany and distributed by our qualified sales and service partners in more than 26 countries.
Selamat siang kepada para peserta webinar ISBI yang ke-18 yang sudah hadir pada kesempatan siang ini. Sebelum kita memulai acaranya, sambil menunggu peserta lain bergabung di room webinar ISBI yang ke-18 ini, alangkah baiknya mari kita untuk mengoreksi atau memeriksa kembali koneksi kita masing-masing agar dapat mengikuti webinar ISBI yang ke-18 ini dengan lancar. Dengan cara Bapak Ibu bisa mengaktifkan terlebih dahulu video Bapak Ibu masing-masing untuk memeriksa kembali koneksi Bapak dan Ibu. Sekaligus dapat bertukar sapa juga dengan peserta yang lain yang sudah hadir di sini. Baik, terlebih dahulu saya ingin...
Coba kalau Semen, coba sampean Jopo coba.
Baik, terlebih dahulu saya ingin menyapa Bapak Arief Syahlan selaku moderator kita pada kesempatan siang ini yang sudah bergabung bersama kita. Selamat siang Pak Arief. Selamat siang Pak Arief Syahlan.
Selamat siang Bu Tika, terima kasih.
Ya Pak, terima kasih Pak sudah bergabung bersama kami.
Ya, sama-sama.
Ya. Di tengah-tengah kita juga sudah hadir Bapak Indra Nurhanudin. Selamat siang Pak Indra.
Selamat siang Ibu.
Iya, baik Pak.
Halo, selamat siang Ibu.
Ya, siang Pak. Sudah siap ya Pak ya untuk presentasi hari ini? Baik, terima kasih Pak Indra. Dan di tengah-tengah kita juga sekarang sudah hadir Mr. Timo Abel. Mr. Timo, good afternoon Mr. Halo Mr. Timo. Please mute your voice.
Hello, good afternoon to Indonesia. My name is Timo Abel from Germany, and thanks to the ISBI for organization of the webinar.
Yeah, Mr. Timo, thank you for joining us, and I hope you are ready for the presentation.
Yes, you're welcome.
Ya, di tengah-tengah kita juga sekarang sudah hadir Mr. Umut Caliskan. Mr. Umut, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon all.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
My name is Umut Caliskan, and I also thank you for the organization of this webinar. I tried to select my background, but unfortunately, it doesn't function. I try to fix this.
Okay, Mr. Umut. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. I hope you are ready for the presentation. Baik, di sini kita sudah melihat sudah sebagian besar sudah hadir.
Ada. Iya.
Baik, sebagian besar di sini peserta sudah hadir. Sambil menunggu yang lain, mari. Baik, untuk para peserta, saya ingin mengingatkan kembali untuk dapat menonaktifkan atau menonaktifkan suaranya, mikrofonnya, agar webinar ini dapat belajar dengan baik. Kepada Bapak Ibu semua, melihat waktunya sudah masuk untuk kita bisa mulai acaranya, dan peserta juga sudah sebagian besar sudah hadir di room webinar ISBI yang ke-18 ini. Mari kita mulai saja acaranya, tapi sebelumnya especially to Mr. Timo and Mr. Umut. Soon I will open this webinar, but I'm sorry before because I will open this webinar in Indonesian. But after that, if you're ready to present, me and Mr. Arief will guide you in English. Baik, kita mulai saja Bapak Ibu untuk acaranya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, selamat siang kepada Bapak Ibu yang sudah hadir di webinar ISBI yang ke-18 ini. Salam sejahtera saya ucapkan untuk semua yang ada di sini. Salam kenal, saya Cartika Andanawari selaku pembawa acara pada kesempatan siang ini. Bagi para peserta yang baru bergabung dan sudah bergabung, saya ucapkan selamat datang kembali di webinar ISBI yang ke-18 ini. Bagi para peserta yang baru bergabung di webinar ISBI dan ingin melihat webinar ISBI yang sebelum-sebelumnya, Bapak Ibu bisa melihat webinar ISBI dari yang pertama sampai dengan 17 di channel YouTube kami dengan nama Studio ISBI. Di sana Bapak Ibu bisa melihat, sekaligus bisa melihat video-video lain yang edukatif dan informatif yang sama-sama pentingnya juga. Baik. Pada kesempatan siang ini, saya pun ingin mengingatkan kembali dan tidak bosannya juga ingin mengingatkan kepada Bapak Ibu semua yang di sini untuk tetap menjaga protokol kesehatan karena mengingat pandemi COVID-19 ini belum benar-benar selesai, apalagi sekarang sedang meningkat kembali dengan varian barunya. Jadi saya harap kita semua dalam keadaan sehat dan bisa tetap menjaga protokol kesehatan. Webinar ISBI yang ke-18 ini mengangkat tema mengenai peranan industrial valve untuk keamanan dan peningkatan efisiensi pabrik atau the role of industrial valve for safety and efficiency improvement. Dari tema yang sudah saya bacakan tadi, terlihat sekali informasi maupun ilmunya sangat penting untuk kita dengarkan bersama-sama. Maka dari itu, saya harap Bapak dan Ibu bisa bergabung dengan kami sampai dengan acara ini selesai. Pada kesempatan siang ini tentunya saya tidak sendiri karena saya akan ditemani dengan moderator kita yang sudah tidak asing lagi pastinya bagi Bapak Ibu yang sudah bergabung dari webinar ISBI yang pertama, yaitu Bapak Arief Syahlan MT. Beliau adalah moderator kami yang akan memandu acara webinar pada kesempatan siang ini. Pada kesempatan siang ini pun kita akan mendengarkan sambutan dari Ketua Asosiasi Semen Indonesia yaitu Bapak Insinyur Widodo Santoso MBA yang nantinya akan dilanjutkan oleh pemaparan dari 3 narasumber kita yang pakar atau sudah ahli di bidangnya yang berhubungan dengan tema yang kita angkat pada kesempatan siang ini. Narasumber yang pertama yang akan mengisi pemaparannya pada siang ini ada Bapak Indra Nurhanudin. Beliau adalah Senior Manager dari PT SPV yang berlokasi di Purwakarta yang merupakan produsen viskos terbesar. Lalu akan disambung oleh pemaparan dari narasumber kita yang kedua, yaitu ada Mr. Umut Caliskan. Mr. Umut Caliskan ini merupakan Business Development Manager at coax GmbH from Germany. Lalu kita juga akan mendengarkan pemaparan dari narasumber kita yang ketiga, yaitu Mr. Timo Abel. Beliau adalah Technical Project Manager at coax GmbH from Germany. Tapi sebelum itu, saya ingin menginformasikan kepada para peserta bahwa saat ini ada 150 peserta yang sudah mendaftar di webinar ISBI yang ke-18 ini. Terima kasih saya ucapkan sekali lagi yang sudah bergabung. Dan untuk kelancaran webinar ISBI ini, saya ingin membacakan tata tertib pelaksanaan selama webinar ini berlangsung guna demi kelancaran webinar ISBI ini dapat terlaksana dengan baik. Baik, yang pertama, tata tertib untuk webinar ISBI yang ke-18 ini adalah yang pertama, nonaktifkan audio maupun video saat webinar ini berlangsung guna untuk kelancaran acara ini. Terkecuali ada instruksi dari moderator ataupun pembawa acara yang bertugas pada kesempatan siang ini. Lalu yang kedua, panitia akan memberikan link pertanyaan dalam bentuk Google Form pada WhatsApp grup yang sudah dibentuk sebelumnya selama presentasi berjalan. Di setiap sesinya, yang ingin memberikan pertanyaan terkait materi yang disampaikan, silakan untuk mengisi Google Form tersebut dan kami akan menutup sesi pertanyaan 1 menit setelah presentasi selesai. Yang ketiga, jika ada kendala ataupun pertanyaan atau hal-hal lain terkait teknis pelaksanaan selama webinar ini berlangsung, Bapak Ibu bisa mengajukan pertanyaan ataupun bisa menyampaikan melalui kolom chat yang tertera di aplikasi Zoom Dewa ini. Dan yang keempat, peserta akan mendapatkan e-sertifikat. Maka dari itu, silakan Bapak Ibu nanti untuk mengisi form kuesioner yang akan kami berikan di akhir acara. Dan yang kelima, ada souvenir menarik bagi para peserta yang beruntung yang akan kami umumkan pun di akhir acara. Jadi kami ingatkan kembali kepada Bapak Ibu untuk dapat mengikuti webinar ini sampai dengan selesai. Sebelum kita masuk ke inti pembahasan, mari kita mendengarkan terlebih dahulu sambutan dari Ketua Asosiasi Semen Indonesia, yaitu Bapak Insinyur Widodo Santoso, MBA. Kepada Bapak Widodo, kami persilahkan.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak-bapak dan ibu sekalian, sebelumnya izinkanlah saya menyampaikan syukur kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Kuasa atas rahmat, taufik, hidayah dan inayahnya kepada kita semua. Alhamdulillah bisa siang ini mengikuti webinar ISBI dengan judul penggunaan valve untuk meningkatkan efisiensi dan kelancaran operasi pabrik. Salam dan salam pada junjungan besar Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Bapak sekalian, bapak-bapak dan ibu sekalian, sebelumnya akan sampaikan terima kasih pada teman-teman ISBI yang secara rutin membantu kemajuan industri di Indonesia. Alhamdulillah. Dan saya sampaikan juga kepada Bapak Pembicara, Bapak Umut, Caliskan dari Jerman luar biasa, kemudian Bapak Timo Abel juga dari Jerman melalui Zoom, dan yang terakhir Bapak Indra dari dalam negeri PT SFB. Bapak-bapak sekalian, valve ada sesuatu yang tidak bisa diabaikan di dalam industri. Kenapa? Valve berfungsi untuk mengontrol ketelitian dan kontinuitas produksi, baik berupa material curah, material gas, udara, dan bahkan material padat berupa bubuk ya. Ini sangat penting. Jangan saya harapkan teman-teman staf pabrik bisa mengikuti dengan baik sehingga pabrikan yang Anda jalankan bisa lebih efisien dan lancar. Ini yang penting. Nanti detailnya akan dijelaskan oleh para pembawa acara. Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, sebelumnya lama tidak ketemu, ya. Jadi saya akan menyampaikan kemajuan industri semen di secara nasional, karena saya sebagai penanggung jawab daripada industri semen melalui Asosiasi Semen Indonesia. Jadi saya wajib menyampaikan kepada Bapak Ibu sekalian mengenai hal ini. Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, perkembangan industri semen tahun 2021 itu cukup menggembirakan sesuai dengan perkembangan ekonomi nasional, ya, nasional kan naiknya sekitar 3% ya. Jadi alhamdulillah industri semen juga meningkat sekitar 5,9%. Lihat ya. Jadi pertama saya sampaikan sekali lagi, anggota kami adalah 14 anggota perusahaan semen seluruh Indonesia dari Aceh sampai Irian. Kapasitas klinkernya sekitar 82 juta ton. Itu kalau dijadikan semen dengan klinker faktor 72,02 itu sekitar 116 juta ton. Jadi sesuai dengan kapasitas semen ini yang perlu. Bapak Ibu sekalian, saya sampaikan realisasi daripada tahun 2021. Produksi klinker yang berhasil dilakukan teman-teman itu sekitar 61,756 ya, sekitar 59 juta ya. Kemudian dalam negeri penjualan klinker juga, ekspornya juga ada cukup bagus 10 juta ton. Nah, sehingga utilisasinya 72%, baru 72%, masih kelebihan 38 juta ton. Jadi masih kelebihan 28%, atau sekitar antara 35 juta ya. Kemudian kapasitas mil, tadi kapasitas mil sama dengan kapasitas produksi 116 juta. Kemudian dalam negeri alhamdulillah 66,3 juta, ada ekspor 1,5 juta, kemudian juga ada hingga totalnya 67 juta. Hingga utilisasi semen itu kapasitas semen itu sekitar baru 58 juta ton. Itu kalau tidak ada ekspor. Jadi sebenarnya kita kelebihan sekitar 116 dikurangi 60 ya. Jadi sekitar 50 juta kelebihan. Untung ada ekspor, sehingga kelebihannya antara 35 sampai 40 juta ton. Ini kira-kira, Bapak sekalian, kondisi bandingan kapasitas dengan realisasi penjualan baik dalam negeri maupun luar negeri. Oke, lanjut. Kita percepat saja. Ini adalah perkembangan untuk region ya. Saya laporkan bahwa lihat di data sebelah kiri, ya, terbesar itu perkembangannya itu di Jawa sama di Sulawesi, luar biasa. Tapi kalau detailnya Sumatera sekitar 2,6%, kemudian di Jawa di atas 5%, Kalimantan sekitar 7%. Sulawesi luar biasa, 20% naiknya. Mungkin masih ada proyek-proyek besar di Kendari, Timur Tengah, di Sulawesi Tengah dan Jalan Trans Sulawesi kali-kali ya. Kemudian Bali Nusa Tenggara stagnan, masih belum jalan turis. Kemudian Maluku Utara lumayan. Maluku dan Papua mau saya itu masih sekitar 8%, masih alhamdulillah masih bagus. Sehingga totalnya tadi saya laporkan 5,9% peningkatan dalam diri. Notabene tahun sebelum pandemi 19 ke 20 itu minus 10,7%. Jadi masih utang sekitar 4-5%. Semoga tahun 2022 bisa meningkat dalam negeri, sehingga permintaan semen untuk dalam negeri sudah sama dengan sebelum pandemi. Insya Allah. Lanjut. Nah, kemudian saya sampaikan aja secara singkat mengenai ekspor. Kalau dalam negeri masih agak merangkak, ini luar biasa, Bapak sekalian, grafiknya menanjak ya sejak tahun 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Ya. Jadi kemarin tahun 2020 sekitar 9,3, sekarang sudah mencapai 11,6 juta ton. Ini alhamdulillah, sehingga utilisasi pabrik itu dari 58 tadi ya, kalau nggak ada ekspor menjadi sekitar tadi 69 ya. Alhamdulillah. Kalau dari segala tujuan, number one is Bangladesh, luar biasa, 40% lebih, disusul oleh Filipina sekitar 12, kemudian 9%, ke Cina, Filipina, Australia, ada juga ke Mauritius, di Afrika, ada Timor Leste, ada Brunei, bahkan keluar Malaysia juga ada sedikit, bahkan sampai ke Amerika. Ini sudah bagus perkembangannya. Kita harapkan tahun 2022 ini bisa meningkat. Notabene memang ada kendala yang cukup serius. Harga batu bara melonjak tajam 2 kali lipat dari harga awal tahun. Nah, inilah yang mungkin saya agak ragu-ragu apakah bisa ekspornya seperti tahun ini. Namun alhamdulillah Pak sekalian, kita dapat support dari pemerintah dengan adanya DMO ya. DMO untuk semen dan pupuk, sehingga ada penurunan sedikit harganya. Ini semoga aja bisa tetap ekspor walaupun tentunya keuntungan akan turun gratis. Oke, lanjut aja. Bapak sekalian, ini adalah resume daripada tahun 2021. Bapak bisa lihat bahwa perkembangan dalam negeri ya, mulai 18 naik 48, 19 anjlok 0,6% aja. Tapi luar biasa ya, walaupun turun 0,6%, tapi dia hampir 70 juta dalam negeri. Tahun 2020 anjlok 10,7%, anjlok nggak main-main ya, sekitar 7,5 juta. Nah, kemudian 21 alhamdulillah meningkat sedikit ke 66 juta. Nah, jadi naik 5,9. Bapak bisa bandingkan. Sebelum pandemi 70, 21 ini bisa 66. Jadi kurangnya hanya sekitar 4 juta. Insya Allah tahun 2022 bisa mencapai seperti tahun 2016, jadi 70 juta ton lagi. Sekarang kita perhatikan ekspor, ya bisa jelaskan tadi 18 5,6 juta, 19 6,5, 20 9,3 juta, dan alhamdulillah tahun ini tahun 2021 11,6 juta, naik 24%. Nah, sehingga kalau kita lihat kalau tahun 2020 total penjualan dalam negeri plus ekspor itu minus 6,3% atau 70 ya 73 hampir ya juta. Sekarang mencapai 77 juta atau naik 6%. Jadi sudah melebihi sedikit daripada total penjualan ekspor dalam negeri tahun sebelum pandemi. Alhamdulillah. Ini berkat kerja keras teman-teman anggota asosiasi dalam meningkatkan neraca perdagangan pemerintah. Ini cukup diapresiasi karena cukup besar ya kalau 12 juta itu kalikan $40 udah berapa triliunan ya. Oke, nah kita lihat ini grafiknya Pak sekalian, bahwa yang grafiknya itu total ya, total dalam negeri plus ekspor. Nah, di sini kelihatan bahwa walaupun turun tahun lalu, namun sekarang sudah naik 8%. Jadi volume total penjualan ekspor 21 naik. Ya. Kemudian volume total penjualan dalam negeri dan ekspor tahun 2021 diperkirakan mencapai 77,3, meningkat 8%, dengan diperkirakan ya sudah. Total tersebut telah melampaui 2019. Jadi ada naik 1 juta, Pak, lumayan. Ini sudah bagus. Ini kira-kira perkembangan dunia industri semen. Oke, lanjut aja, kita persingkat. Nah, ini Bapak sekalian, prospek daripada utilisasi pabrik semen di Indonesia. Jadi tahun 2021 sekarang kan saya sampaikan 66,3 ya, persen ya, 66,9%, kemudian naik ke 79. Nah, diharapkan ya tahun 2025 naik lagi 72, kemudian 2024 naik 75% utilisasi, dan 2025 baru 78%. Dengan perhitungan kenaikan rata-rata kita anggap 4%. Karena enggak, selama sudah 5 tahun ini tidak pernah ada kenaikan di atas 3%. Nah, inilah kira-kira dengan perhitungan ini, kira-kira tahun 32 itu baru klop antara realisasi penjualan dalam negeri plus ekspor dengan kapasitas. Sehingga kami mengusulkan pemerintah bahwa dialog lakukan moratorium sampai tahun 2028, karena untuk bangun semen kan sudah 3 tahun. Dari tahun 2032 habis ya 3 tahun sebelumnya harus bangun atau 4 tahun. Makanya kami mengusulkan 2008. Dan ini sudah mendapat respon bagus dari pemerintah. Semoga bisa dilakukan peraturan tertulis moratorium. Oke, lanjut Bapak sekalian. Lanjut aja. Nah, ini adalah kesimpulan aja, saya singkat. Ya. Pertama tentunya proyeksi yang penting. Proyeksi tahun 2022 diperkirakan permintaan dalam negeri akan tumbuh sekitar 4-5%, sesuai dengan perkiraan pertumbuhan ekonomi nasional. Nasional diperkirakan sekitar 3-4% lah salah ya. Jadi kita ngikutin. Kemudian juga adanya kenaikan anggaran infrastruktur, APBN dan non APBN dari pemerintah. Oke, kemudian kondisi harga ekspor batubara masih tinggi ya, dan belum jelas kapan berakhir. Sehingga ekspor semen dan peningkatan tahun 2022 diperkirakan tidak akan mengalami kenaikan, akan naik tetap 11 juta ton, akan bisa turun sedikit ya, karena kenaikan biaya produksi. Hal ini juga berdampak turunnya jumlah pabrik semen hingga saat ini masih kelebihan. Kita harapkan tidak begitu, karena ada kebijakan pemerintah sekali lagi dalam adanya DMO untuk klingker, untuk semen dan pupuk sebagai bahan penting, sebagai 10 bahan penting pokok dan industri strategis. Makanya perlu ada support ya, sehingga ekspor bisa jalan, moneter perdagangan bisa dibantu, dan tentunya penting utilisasi pabrik tidak turun. Dan respon positif dari Kementerian Industrian maupun dari SDM. Kemudian yang masih mengganjal adalah dengan adanya ancaman COVID-19 yang mulai bergerak cukup tajam, diharapkan tidak menimbulkan hambatan pembangunan, konstruksi proyek strategis maupun perumahan, dan tentunya perekonomian nasional. Bapak-bapak Ibu sekalian, demikianlah sekedar informasi dari Asosiasi Semen Indonesia. Semoga bermanfaat bagi Bapak sekalian dan tentunya bermanfaat bagi industri semen khususnya dan industri nasional pada umumnya demi meningkatkan perekonomian Indonesia menyongsong masa depan yang gemilang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, terima kasih kepada Pak Widodo atas sambutannya. Dan selanjutnya saya akan serahkan kepada Bapak Arief Syahlan selaku moderator kita pada kesempatan siang ini untuk memandu jalannya webinar hari ini. Kepada Pak Arief Syahlan, silakan Pak.
Terima kasih Bu Tika. Baik, terima kasih sekali lagi untuk Pak Widodo yang sudah menyampaikan materi review industri semen Indonesia tahun 2022 ini. Dan sekali lagi kami sampaikan bahwa Pak Widodo mungkin dalam kondisi yang kurang sehat dan sedang dirawat. Tapi karena dedikasinya yang tinggi, beliau tetap bersemangat untuk menyampaikan materi review industri semen Indonesia ini pada saat ini bersama kita. Kami berharap Pak Widodo segera sembuh kembali dan bisa beraktivitas normal seperti biasa. Baik, kita akan memasuki sesi-sesi utama. Ada 3 sesi utama. Yang pertama, kita akan disampaikan oleh Bapak Indra Nurhanudin dari PT SPV, South Pacific Viscose. Kemudian yang kedua dari Mr. Umut Caliskan, Business Development Manager dari coax, dan yang terakhir oleh Mr. Timo Abel, Technical Project Manager dari quadax. Baik, kita akan memasuki sesi pertama. Pak Indra Nurhanudin akan menyampaikan materi dengan tema butterfly valve, aplikasi dan permasalahannya. Seperti sudah disampaikan oleh Pak Widodo tadi, hampir semua industri memiliki pipa, dan semua pipa pasti membutuhkan valve, baik itu untuk operasikan hidup mati, mengatur-ngatur volume yang melewati pipa tersebut. Oleh karena itu, valve menjadi salah satu peralatan yang sangat penting dalam industri yang melibatkan pipa-pipa tersebut. Nah, bagaimana memilih valve dan mengoperasikan valve yang sesuai? Mari kita dengarkan pemaparan dari Pak Indra Nurhanudin terkait butterfly valve di industri beliau. Dan sebelum Pak Indra menyampaikan materinya, saya akan menyampaikan sedikit CV beliau. Nama lengkap Pak Indra Nurhanudin. Beliau adalah tamatan teknik mesin dari Politeknik Universitas Brawijaya Malang dan bekerja sebagai senior manager di South Pacific Viscose, Purwakarta, Jawa Barat. Posisi terakhir saat ini adalah senior manager yang sebelumnya 28 tahun dipercaya sebagai plant maintenance atau mechanical maintenance viscose, dan sebelumnya juga pernah 2 tahun sebagai maintenance fiber plant. Baik, itu adalah sedikit ringkas adalah CV Bapak Indra Nurhanudin. Selanjutnya kita akan mendengarkan pemaparan materi dari Pak Indra secara lengkap. Oleh karena itu, silakan Pak Indra, Bapak mempunyai waktu sekitar 20 menit menyampaikan materi yang sudah disiapkan oleh Bapak. Dan silakan Pak Indra untuk menyampaikan materinya.
Ya. Ya, selamat siang Bapak-Bapak dan Ibu-Ibu yang tergabung dalam webinar pada siang hari ini. Ya. Pertama-tama saya ucapkan terima kasih atas undangan yang diberikan oleh ISBN bahwa kami diberi kesempatan untuk menyampaikan studi kasus di dalam apa yang kami hadapi di perusahaan kami. Ya. Nah, memang kalau tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Moderator bahwa ini adalah ada hubungannya dengan sistem proses, ya memang valve memiliki itu semua, dibutuhkan untuk itu semua, dan kami mohon maaf jika apa yang saya sampaikan pada sore hari ini itu tidak ada hubungannya dengan semen, Pak. Ya, tapi kami ada di satu perusahaan kimia yang memproduksi fiber biasa orang sebut kapas sintetis seperti itu, Pak. Ya, saya akan mulai menyampaikan materi saya, Pak. Ya, ini bahwa agenda kami pada hari ini adalah pendahuluan tentang SPV, South Pacific Viscose, di mana kami tergabung dalam Lansing Company. Kemudian yang kedua adalah aplikasi butterfly valve dan studi kasus, di mana kami akan menerangkan yang pertama adalah populasi di tempat kami, kemudian aplikasi serta studi kasus itu sendiri. Jika nanti dari materi ini ada yang dirasa kurang, mungkin kita bisa diskusi setelah sesi pemaparan materi ini kita sampaikan. Ya, ini sekilas tentang PT Lansing South Pacific Viscose, bahwa perusahaan ini adalah sebuah perusahaan grup Lansing dari Austria. Lansing telah beroperasi di Indonesia, di Provinsi Jawa Barat selama lebih dari 4 dekade, melalui anak perusahaannya PT South Pacific Viscose di Kota Purwakarta ini. Purwakarta adalah kota kecamatan yang terletak strategis antara ibu kota Indonesia Jakarta dan Bandung, ibu kota Provinsi Jawa Barat. Purwakarta pernah lebih dikenal sebagai kawasan industri, namun seiring waktu kota ini telah berkembang menjadi tujuan yang menarik dan sebagai jendela budaya, cara hidup suku Sunda masyarakat di Jawa Barat. Kota ini dapat dijangkau dengan transportasi umum tertentu seperti kereta api, bus, dan mobil maupun mobil travel. Selama bertahun-tahun, Lansing telah berdiri sendiri sebagai pemberi kerja dan yang penting bahwa kita telah memperoleh penerimaan masyarakat. SPV atau South Pacific Viscose adalah produsen viskos terbesar dari grup Lansing. SPV telah memproduksi serat staple fiber atau viskos botanik dan sodium sulfat sejak tahun 1982. SPV telah berkembang dengan sukses sebagai produsen viskos terbesar dengan kapasitasnya saat ini lebih dari 860 ton per hari. Ya, seperti apa kapas fiber atau kapas sintetis itu seperti ini, Pak. Seperti kapas alami. Ya. Nah, kemudian dan produksi sodium sulfatnya sejumlah 559 ton per day. Ya, sodium sulfat itu seperti ini. Ya, biasanya ini bisa dipakai untuk deterjen dan rumus kimianya adalah Na2SO4. Itu adalah dari sodium. Serat botani berbasis kayu digunakan dalam industri tekstil dan bukan tenunan. Ini diproduksi dengan proses ramah lingkungan. Ya, jadi maksudnya bahwa hasil produksi yang kami hasilkan ini, jika itu dibuang ke tanah, dia akan cepat diurai oleh bakteri. Strategi grup baru kami adalah menyeimbangkan manusia, planet, dan keuntungan berdasarkan serat khusus yang berkelanjutan. Nah, kalau Bapak Ibu ingin tahu lokasi tempat kami, ini ada seperti ini. Ini ada sungai terbesar yang dekat dengan kami, yaitu Sungai Citarum, di mana di atasnya sini itu ada bendungan Insinyur Juanda. Kenapa kami memilih di sini? Karena kebutuhan air itu sangat banyak untuk proses produksi kami. Nah, ini untuk aplikasi butterfly valve yang ada di tempat kami. Ya. Jadi populasi yang ada di tempat kami untuk dalam penggunaan butterfly valve ini ada dari berbagai ukuran, yaitu dari DN 50 sampai DN 800, dan juga brand yang berbeda-beda, ada Keystone, ada KSB, dan ada yang ini dari India, itu juga kita menggunakannya. Nah, pada kesempatan ini kami akan berbagi informasi atau dalam studi kasus ini, itu kami menghadapi tentang kerusakan butterfly valve DN 800 yang kami pergunakan di mesin Santator, atau biasa di kami sebutkan sebagai mesin Santator, di mana fungsinya sebagai reaktor di plant viskos. Kenapa ini saya perlu sampaikan plant viskos? Karena di dalam pembuatan serat fiber ini, itu kita ada 3 departemen, masing-masing saling memproduksi untuk kebutuhan serat fiber. Nah, di viskos plant, butterfly valve digunakan untuk mengendalikan media air. Brand itu ada kandungan kaustik sekitar 2-6%. Kemudian kaustik sendiri 48% yang kita dilute menjadi 20% untuk proses produksi pembuatan cairan viskos. Nah, kemudian cairan viskos itu dikendalikan oleh valve juga untuk on-off maupun kontrol. Cairan viskos itu seperti ini, Bapak Ibu sekalian, ya. Ini kalau misal kita lihat sedikit informasi bahwa ini cairan viskos. Ya, cairan viskos itu seperti ini. Ya. Kemudian alkali selulos itu kita juga perlu mengendalikan di dalam prosesnya. Nah, alkali selulos itu bentuknya seperti ini. Ini seperti parutan kelapa. Kalau Bapak Ibu bisa bayangkan kira-kira seperti apa ya? Seperti parutan kelapa. Gitu. Ya. Nah, ini proses flowchart yang ada di kami. Ya, warna kuning ini adalah departemen viskos. Kemudian yang warna hijau ini adalah departemen spinning. Dan yang warna biru ini adalah departemen spinbat. Nah, yang akan menjadi sorotan kita pada saat ini adalah di departemen viskos, di mesin reaktor yang kita namakan sebagai Santator. Ya, karena di dalam Santator ini ada alkali selulos yang masuk, kemudian direaksikan dengan karbon disulfid, atau biasa kita sebut CS2 di sini. Ya, maka akan menghasilkan kapas fiber seperti ini. Ya. Nah, PNID mesin Santator itu kira-kira seperti ini. Ya, ini adalah mesin Santatornya, reaktornya. Ini adalah butterfly valve-nya. Ya. Ini adalah alkali selulos masuk ke dalam mesin Santator. Nanti kemudian ini ada CS2 yang warna kuning ini. Ya. Ini yang warna ya. Nah, nanti CS2 itu akan bereaksi dengan selulos, kemudian menjadi selulos santat yang akan dikeluarkan melalui mesin rough cutter ini menuju ke dissolver untuk proses berikutnya. Nah, studi case dalam butterfly valve ini, inilah mesin Santator kami, ada kemiringan sekitar 7 derajat. Ya, maka ini adalah DN 800 dari butterfly valve untuk mengisi dan prosesnya mengisi dan menutup valve ini untuk proses vakum sesuai dengan step dari bed proses itu. Ya. Nah, ini step proses pada mesin Santator. Ya. Jadi step 1 itu adalah menunggu proses filling selulos, kemudian AC valve terbuka. Nah, ini ada waktu yang dibutuhkan dari masing-masing step itu, Bapak Ibu. Kemudian ada ring pressure yang dibutuhkan juga. Nah, kemudian feeding alkali selulos, persiapan untuk vakum, proses vakum. Nah, ini AC valve, alkali selulos valve atau valve butterfly yang DN 800 tadi, di samping dia membuka menutup untuk mengisi selulos, dia juga dibutuhkan untuk proses vakum, ya, di mana mesin itu sebelum masuk CS2, ya, dia harus diproses vakum dengan ring pressure-nya sekitar 0,83 bar git, milibar git. Ini yang dibutuhkan. Dan ini tidak boleh ada kebocoran. Maka dilakukan tes vakum. Tes vakum ini, maksimum vakum yang diperbolehkan adalah minus 0,79 milibar git. Kalau misalkan 0,78, maka dia sudah tidak bisa masuk ke step berikutnya, yaitu step filling CS2, karbon disolvate ini. Ya. Step 7 adalah filling CS2, step 8 reaksi pertama, step 9 reaksi kedua, step 10 penambahan dissolving lye, step 11 selesai proses vakum, step 12 penambahan dissolving lye kedua, step 13 dropping viskos ke dissolver tank, step 14 pencucian pembersihan tangki menggunakan disley, step 15 pencucian terakhir tangki, step 16 mengosongkan tangki, step 17 pengeringan dengan menggunakan exhaust, step 18 pengecekan vakum. Jadi dari proses step ini, satu proses, satu cycle step itu membutuhkan waktu sekitar 107,6 menit. Ya, itu proses yang ada di mesin reaktor kami. Nah, deteksi kebocoran, ya, ada beberapa cara yang biasa dipergunakan untuk mengetahui kebocoran vakum pada mesin santator, yaitu dengan visual atau didengarkan. Jadi kalau bocornya terlalu besar, gitu ya, begitu kita mendekat itu sudah langsung kedengaran suara ngejos seperti itu. Yang kedua dilakukan dengan menggunakan vakum detektor. Ini kita menggunakan smoke seperti ini, Bapak-bapak. Ya, ini kalau Bapak lihat, Bapak Ibu lihat bahwa smoke yang ada dari alat ini dia disedot oleh vakum yang ada di dalam santator, maka dia masuk ke dalam. Ya, tuh. Ini menunjukkan bahwa kondisi di dalam reaktor kami bocor. Ya. Nah, kemudian kerusakan yang biasa ditemukan pada liner alkali selulose butterfly valve adalah abrasif, di mana liner ini terkikis oleh selulosa. Kemudian ada luka sobek. Ya, luka sobek ini biasa terjadi jika membersihkannya dilakukan dengan tergesa-gesa, sehingga alat pembersihkan menekan liner dengan lebih kuat. Itu. Yang ketiga, sambungan saat molding kurang baik. Nah, ini biasanya adanya di ujung-ujung yang dekat sub. Di situ ada semacam apa namanya kotoran saat molding seperti itu. Nah, kemudian tindakan yang dilakukan untuk menghindari kegagalan produksi yang diakibatkan kasus ini atau vakum bocor adalah membersihkan viskos yang menempel pada liner valve. Ya. Kemudian yang kedua, penggantian berdasarkan kondisi kebocoran vakum. Nah, performa yang kami dapat sejauh ini itu sekitar 3 tahun average. Ya, jadi itu performa yang biasa kami dapatkan lifetime dari valve itu. Nah, seperti ini kerusakan-kerusakan yang mungkin sering kami alami, Bapak. Ya, jadi kalau kita lihat di sini ada scratch-scratch seperti itu. Ya, pada waktu kasus ini terjadi itu kita temukan ada 3 posisi yang mengalami scratch seperti ini. Ya, jadi kayak dicakar-cakar gitu. Ya. Nah, risiko yang terjadi jika vakum ini bocor. Yang pertama adalah kualitas viskos menurun. Ini sehubungan dengan produksi, ya, di mana kalau kualitas viskosnya menurun, ya otomatis produksi kita tidak menghasilkan kualitas kapas yang lebih bagus. Gitu. Yang kedua, jika ini terjadi, maka pencemaran lingkungan ini sehubungan dengan environmental issue. Karena apa? Karena kalau reaksinya tidak sempurna, maka kematangan dari viskosantat, alkali santat itu tidak bagus, maka ini kita buang. Di mana dalam satu tangki kapasitasnya 25 meter kubik. Dan ini akan membebani di WWTP, wastewater treatment. Ya, di sana secara langsung kita akan di sana untuk ininya, karena kan kita juga punya bakteri sebagai pengolah limbah, gitu. Ya. Dan yang ketiga risikonya yaitu bisa terjadi ledakan. Nah, kenapa ledakan ini bisa terjadi? Karena CS2 yang dalam bentuk gas itu lepas, itu dari lubang atau dari sekitar luka yang ada di liner tadi, maka dia langsung kontak dengan udara luar, maka dia bisa explosion. Kerugian yang keempat yaitu kerugian produksi, di mana total produksi kami, ini saya ambil contoh di line 2 Pak ya, itu ada 150 ton per day, itu produksi kami. Jadi kalau misalkan kita jam menjadi sekitar 6,25 ton per jam, maka loss produksinya, nah ini kenapa ada 18,75 ton per 3 jam, ini karena waktu kami mengganti valve itu dibutuhkan kurang lebih 3 jam. Ya, maka kerugian ini saya coba hitung selama 3 jam. Ya. Jadi kalau misalkan di line 2 itu ada 2 mesin santator, 2 mesin reaktor, maka dalam 3 jam 1 mesin santator stop, maka yang kerugian yang dihasilkan adalah 9 ton, 375 itu. Ya. Nah, saat ini harga mesin fiber itu sekitar $1,5 per kilogram. Ya, jadi kalau kita total di kisaran sekitar 196,76 juta rupiah. Ya, jadi segitu kerugian yang kami dapatkan hanya jika kami mengalami kerusakan vakum, kerusakan butterfly valve yang mengakibatkan vakum di mesin reaktor kami bocor. Ya. Nah, itu pemaparan yang bisa saya sampaikan Bapak Ibu sekalian. Nah, kami berharap bahwa mungkin ada pendapat nanti dari Bapak Ibu, masukan bahwa seperti ini sebaiknya, atau ada pendapat lain dari Bapak Ibu yang mungkin bisa membantu kami di dalam studi kasus ini. Terima kasih, kami kembalikan kepada Bapak Moderator. Pak Arief.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Indra atas materi yang disampaikan, sangat menarik dan lengkap, jelas. Dan mudah-mudahan apa yang Bapak sampaikan juga dipahami oleh semua peserta webinar ini. Dan bagi Bapak Ibu yang tertarik untuk menanyakan hal-hal yang masih kurang jelas, silakan mengisi Google Form yang sudah dikirimkan oleh panitia. Dan kami mohon pertanyaan hanya dikirimkan melalui Google Form. Jangan melewati chat, karena akan menyulitkan panitia untuk menggabungkan semua pertanyaan ini dalam satu pertanyaan, satu
dokumen,
kelompok pertanyaan. Baik, sekali lagi terima kasih Pak Indra atas presentasinya, dan kami mohon Bapak tetap bergabung dengan kami. Ya, Bapak tetap bergabung dengan kami, karena sesi diskusi akan kami laksanakan setelah sesi ketiga berakhir. Dan terima kasih sekali lagi Pak Indra. Kemudian sebelum memasuki sesi yang berikutnya, sama-sama Pak Indra. Sebelum memasuki sesi berikutnya, Pak Panitia akan memutarkan video ice breaking, dan silakan Panitia. Okay, we'll enter into the second session. Entering the second session, Mr. Umut Caliskan, as the Business Development Manager of the Muller coax, will deliver material related to the coax valve.
Yes.
Before Mr. Umut delivers his presentation, I will read his brief curriculum vitae. Name Mr. Umut Caliskan. Education is whole school, Heilbronn whole school for technique. We start on informatic as a Bachelor of Engineering, mechanical engineering from 2016 until 2019. And his work experience from February 2012 until August 2012 as a full-time assembly worker. From September 2012 until March 2016 as an apprenticeship industrial mechanic. From April 2016 until September 2019 as a full-time mechanic. And from October until now as a business development manager. That is a short brief briefing vitae of Mr. Umut. And we need to remind you again that for participants that the question link in a Google form will be sent via chat while Mr. Umut delivers the material. For ladies and gentlemen who want to submit questions related to the material presented, please fill out the Google form and do not send questions via chat so that the committee can easily combine all the questions. Google form will be closed 1 minute after presentation end. It is time for you, Mr. Umut, to deliver your presentation. There is 35 minutes to you to deliver the material. Okay, Mr. Umut, please, this is your time.
Thank you for introduction. I just share my screen. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I hope all participants can hear you okay.
Can you all see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, I start. Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar. My name is Umut Caliskan and I present you the coax, the inventor of coaxial valve technology. As inventor of coaxial valve, we work to optimize the coaxial valve to keep leading in the valve industry. Our mission is to solve problems of our customer, searching for new challenges, and expand our position in various industry fields. We gain an award from the renowned business magazine in this year in the category of coaxial valve and high pressure valves. We are working in our family-owned company with more than 350 employees. We are active in 44 countries. We have subsidiaries in the US, in Europe, and Asia. We are working with our huge sales network around the globe with more than 30 distributions. Our headquarters and production area are located in Forchtenberg in Germany. Now I will share you some milestones about the history of Müller coax. The company was founded by Gottfried Müller, the inventor of coax valves, in 1960. During 3 decades, we founded several subsidiaries in 1997 in USA, 2010 in Spain, 2014 in Italy, and 2016 was the company founded Müller Quadax, which my colleague Timo Abel will present you after my presentation. This company is separate from the Müller coax GmbH, but is belonging to the Müller coax group. 2017, we add subsidiary in UK. And 2020, we celebrate our 60 years of coax experience and also founded our subsidiary in Singapore. I added some products that you can get and imagine about the valves of coaxial and also the butterfly valves. Made in Germany is very important for us. Therefore, we try to produce nearly most of the valve parts in-house, like seal disc, body, cylinders, ports. We are working with high technology, innovative machine park, such as 5-axis machine centers or welding robots. At our company, all valves undergo 100% testing and optimized assembly and test process guarantee a perfect product quality for benefit for you. Now, every single valve is subjected to 100% testing. Beside function tests, seat body leakage tests, we also provide vacuum testing with helium and also hydrostatics tests for special customer demands. For example, the certification on the right side, you get an impression. We do the certification process in-house and offer them for customer specifications. No, we are always oriented customer focused. So the application is the most important topic. So we support you by consulting to solve problems in your applications, to define your processes. We are manufacturing just for the application. We have no valves on stock. With a flexible, with our machine park, we are quite flexible by adding or adjusting for customer purposes. We have over 60 years of experience in fluid handling. The planning we are doing also with our engineering team in-house. So that gives us also a positive aspect in being flexible. Now I would like to show you the 6 advantages of the valve technology, of the coaxial valve technology. Just starting with on the left upper corner, the back pressure tightness. You can eliminate with this kind of advantage additional valves like check valves. You are back pressure tight with our solenoid valves up to 16 bar. And with our externally controlled valves, you can also hold up full pressure range. The spring is also an additional to keep the valve closed and secure the tightness. The construction of the valves itself is also suitable for bidirectional flow. So it is no matter if you flow from A to B or from B to A. Due to the seat design of our valves and the construction itself is also resistant against contaminations like particles from machining coolant or from the machine tool industry. Compared to other valve types, we are also very compact because the actuator of the valve is around the pipe. It's the most compact design that you can achieve within an armature. The main advantage of the valves is the pressure balance design. With this, you have small forces to actuate the valve. You have only the friction of sealing need to be overcome to switch the valves. So you don't need a delta P. And you can control with one valve from vacuum to high pressure. Another advantage is also the fast actuation of our valves. with less than 30 milliseconds. Yes. Now I would like to show an overview about the various industries we built up during the 60 years. We grew up in the machine and plant construction, like in the automotive sector, where we're in the machine plants in the sector like Mercedes, Audi. Then we grow up in various fields of industry, for example, in the marine, like in dual fuel motors, for example, from MAN, or in ship propellers provided by ABB. In the chemical sector, we are working in the production side of BASF in Ludwigshafen. Within the wind power plants, we are in the gearboxes provided by Siemens, for example. In the oil and gas sector, we are implementing a gas control system provided by Honeywell, for example, or in the drilling application by Petrobras. In the construction industry, we are working with Herrenknecht and Liebherr in tunneling, boring applications. In the aerospace sector, we are with the German Aerospace Center in cooperation to develop new technology. In hydrogen sector, we are working with Linde. Just an overview about the machine and plant construction. Gripper system, heat treatment system, test benches, tooling machines, cleaning system, coating system, dosing. This kind of various application we supply with our valve technology. From the machine tools industry, we have application in machine and production. We supply coolant or lubricant in machining center. Requirements are high tightness, even with contaminated media, like grinding emulsion or particles from the shaping of metals. Fast and reproducible switching cycles are also a very important point. We add value to our customer with our compact design, individual consulting, and solution finding. Some solutions are externally controlled valves, the FMX range, which have adjustable switching times, no pressure shocks, application modules and stripes with up to 9-fold design possible. With our direct actuated valve, we have space saving solution in all pressure ranges, so you can control with one type of valve, one size of valve, from 16 bar up to 100 bar with the same size. With our pressure control valve, you can also protect the components from overpressure damage, smooth pressure control through pneumatic cushion. With proportional valve, several pressure levels are programmable. Another application are the test benches. In this application, we supply the control of test media. It's quite customer specific requirements. High tightness are required and reliability during test processes. Like, for example, components from the automotive sector for the ESP, for example, are tested by some applications. The added value are always the support and advice to find a suitable solution. Here you are also have the choice to select the direct actuated valve, and also sometimes is a profit to reduce the valve wide with through aluminum design. Our externally controlled valve are compact designed down to DN8. We are providing also high pressure valves in compact sizes, different module types for bonding functions such as mixing or distributing. The green line valves, which has also patented with our special electronic, need up 80% less energy after switching. So you have a better heat emission of applications. kind of impressions out of the test benches. Another applications are industrial furnaces, for example, used in vacuum furnaces. The requirements are to evacuate the chamber and also the gas injection, and therefore you can only need one valve for two functions. The added value are the construction from vacuum to high pressure, and also the bi-directional flow is important in this case. And another point is that you can discard additional valves, for example, check valves to save costs. The direct actuated valves are certified with from us with vacuum testing. Here just an impression of our customer. So out of the chemical industry, we are handling fluids like resins, printing ink, paint, components of plastics in production, adhesive, and gases. So in chemical factories, we have dosing of chemical liquids for mixing processes. The requirement are exact dosing of flammable liquids into tanks, for example, and it's very important to be precise on switching. The added value for our customer are that the valve construction is suitable for both direction of flow, flushing of the processes lines possible, reliability of valves, and our solution are the common direct actuated valves, also with vacuum certification, limit switches added, special seats due to the application, and a huge variety of body material from brass to stainless steel. Another application are polyurethane applications. Here we are injected, for example, polyol and isocyanate to create the polyurethane. The two components are controlled by our cartridge valves. Here also the requirements, exact dosing of two components, reliable switching, the engineering for long life, fast actuation, and maintenance friendly. The advantage of this cartridge valves are the body is fixed in the pipeline, and with only three screws, you can replace the valve in maintenance processes. So you save a lot of time. Some solutions are for example, some options are metal seat or special sealings within the inner parts of the cartridge valves within rubber. From the energy sector, we have wind power plants, biogas plants, hydroelectric power plants, coal fire power plants, nuclear power plants, geothermal plants. In the power plants, we have supply of lubrications for turbines, for example, or the cooling processes with hydrogen or air in turbines, the fuel injections, or gas preparation and filling units. The requirements for the valves are high reliability on valves, high life cycles, and fast actuation for emergency. The added value are compact valves, back pressure tight, and also customized. Our solutions are externally controlled valve with mounting brackets, special seals, limit switches, or direct actuated valves, also vacuum certified with limit switches, special seals, or a manual override in case of the loss of power. In gas control systems, we supply a connected gas engine with the correct amount of fuel gas at a specified pressure. The requirements are to provide a shut-off valve and the gas relief valve in a double plug and bleed construction principle. The added values are customer individual, reliable with back pressure, compact, space saving. Like you can see, the gas control system. This one is the externally controlled valve with our ethics certified limit switches, and also the both externally controlled valves, which are fits in the pipeline, compact as possible. From the oil and gas sector, we are in all extraction processing applications, natural gas handling, for example, the transportations or petrochemical processes. In the refineries, we supply and dosing of oil and further media processes or coolant processes. The requirements are high reliability, high tightness, and ethics certified. Added value are compact coaxial design, back pressure tightness, and also the consulting. Our direct actuated valves are suitable for ADEX Zone 1 and 2, vacuum tested and certified valves, and are the space saving solution. Our coaxial externally controlled valves are also available in completely stainless steel, suitable for ADEX Zone 0, 1, and 2. Efficient air consumption compared to the other valves like ball valves. From drilling applications, we are used in upstream applications, like for example, an injection of chemical additives during boring processes to prevent corrosion. It was an application out of the States. Here are the requirements to be resistant against abrasive media, high life cycle, and reliable switching. The value for our customer are the maintenance-friendly construction of the valves, and also the customized valves solution, special seals included. Within this construction, you are always possible to add like limit switches. From the construction industry and transportation, we are in several applications like transport vehicles, construction vehicles, mixing equipment, infrastructure, or tunnel construction. From the Semen industry, for example, we are used for cooling processes in gas conditioning towers, supply of water to regulate hot process gases. The requirements are reliable switching behavior, high life cycles, resistant against dust and dirt. Added value for our customer are robust valves for harsh environment, suitable seat design against dirty media, compact design even with high pressure. Our coaxial direct active valves are available with following options, for example, mounting bracket, flange versions, limit switches, and also manual overrides. In tunnel drilling applications, we are supplying water glass as harder for cement, or the injection of bentonite during the drilling processes. The requirements for the valve technology are resistant against abrasive media, reliable control of viscous media, or high life cycle. The added value are cartridge valves for fast maintenance service, control of sticky, abrasive, and highly viscous media, and also special seals. The solutions are compact design combined in the cartridge valves, variety of body materials, also available from brass to stainless steel, depends on the customer. Special seals according to media, and also limit switches. We have also application during the tunnel drilling processes for lifting the elements out of cement. Therefore, the requirements are the evacuation of air, a reliable valve resistant against dust and dirt. Our value are for our customer are robust valves, compact design, reliable operation, even in an event of power failure. The solutions are direct actuated valve, large nominal sizes for low delta P or large delivery rates available. Direct actuated valve with no dynamic sealing. And also our impulse valve for low power demand, no heat up of the armature, simple design, no dynamic seal. Also fail safe even in the event of power failure, remains in the last valve position. Here are some insights. For example, this one. So from the H2 refueling stations, test benches, fuel cells, electrolyzers, and gas turbines, we are working in the upcoming worldwide trend, hydrogen. Here, for example, we have a hydrogen filling system as application. The control of hydrogen in tank filling processes with our high pressure up to 350 bar in filling processes. Requirements are high required tightness, high pressure valves up to 500 bar, high life cycles, minimum air consumption even at the pressure level, even at high pressure levels, very compact design and maintenance friendly. The cartridge valves are also available with limit switches up to 500 bar in stainless steel versions, special seals, and also suitable for attic zone 2. Now I will like to show you some ranges of our valve technology of our portfolio. We have the solenoid group, the FMX range, the externally controlled valves, modules and manifolds, just produced, customized, the cartridge valve group, and also our control valves. With more than 60,000 valve variants, we offer nearly for every problem a solution. The orifices are from 1 millimeter up to 250 millimeter. The kV value are from 0.06 cubic meter per hour up to 650 cubic meter per hour. Pressure ranges are from 0 bar up to 500 bar. Temperature ranges are from minus 196 degrees Celsius up to plus 400 degrees Celsius. Now I would like to show you some technical insights of the valve. For example, our direct acting valves with a solenoid, inlet, outlet ports, the valve seat itself, the construction with the control tube and the armature, and the spring which puts the control tube on the seat, and the flow from A to B when energized. The nearly same principle with our externally controlled valve. You can use here classic pressure air or also available with hydraulic drives. Also from A to B, the flow. With this valve, you can also help back pressure tight, leakage free up to full pressure ranges. For example, 100 bar when you actuate the valve and hold the control tube on the seat, you can hold back pressure up to 100 bar, for example. Now the insides of our cartridge valves with the 3 screws for fast removal of the valve. during maintenance processes, externally controlled. To increase forces, to switching forces, we can also edit additional 1 or 2 drives, 2 cylinders. Here are the rubber to seal the inside from the body, the outside. Some applications are also due with our pressure reducing valves to reduce the, for example, high pressure inline of the valve and supply special specified pressure for the tool. Another application with our pressure control valve to limit the system pressure, for example, to prevent damage on the pump, and also be the bypass to the tank. In addition, with our classic solenoid on-off valve to control the coolant during machining processes. Or some module solution, for example, combined within 4 valves, also available in different nominal sizes or different pressure levels with separations inside. You can mix, also distribute the flow. For example, this kind of application is the mixing application. As this was all about the Miller coax valves from my side, I would like to thank you for your attention and hope you get an overview about the high variety of solutions we offer. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Umut, for your presentation, clear presentation, and thank you for your presenter that explained what products are produced by coax, how their quality and what the function, and where these valves are used in industry. Okay, the webinar will be continued to session 3. For that, please stand by at your place until the end of the session because this discussion session will be held after session 3 ends. Okay, Mr. Umut?
Okay.
Okay, before entering session 3, the committee will present the following ice-breaking video. Please, committee.
Set metal-to-metal butterfly valve is designed for a wide range of extreme applications. These include those involving technical gases, LNG and LPG systems and low temperatures, as well as cryogenic applications, solar thermal energy, power generation, pulp and paper, refineries and petrochemicals, oxygen applications, district heating, and a whole lot more. Wherever the highest level of long-term tightness is required, despite high or low temperatures and pressure differences, you can benefit from a cost-saving process with maximum safety for the entire installation. Our butterfly valve is designed for both on-off and control applications. The term offset refers to every distance, angle or deviation to a central physical point. So what are the 3 offsets? First, the turning point of the disc is axially offset along the direction of the pipe. Second, the turning point of the disc is radially offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge. Third, the seat has a conical shape where the tip of the cone is offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge. Therefore, by definition, all triple offset valves with a circular basis cone result in an elliptical narrow seat in the valve body. The quadax 4 offset butterfly valve design has an elliptical output cone. The cut at a specific angle results in a rounder and thus larger sealing area with uniform material thickness. With the benefit of higher CV values, lower torques, friction-free operation, no wear on the sealing area during the closing process, and a homogeneous expansion and shrinking of the sealing materials. This is the ideal design to easily handle extreme delta T values by ensuring reliable tightness. The valve is available for temperature ranges from -270 to 800 degrees Celsius or -454 to +1472 degrees Fahrenheit and up to DN 1800 or 72 inches. It is tight in both directions up to a full pressure of 160 bar and 2320 psi. Apart from the material selection, the media can also be managed with zero leakage by using different fully laminated stainless steel sealings or with a patented Inconel O-ring for the most demanding applications. All of them are completely round. A floating disc and a shaft with no deflection when faced with high-pressure media complements the 4 offset design. This design allows handling of the most extreme pressure ranges and delta T values by ensuring that the valve is always 100% tight. The 4 main benefits provided by quadax are safe use in even the most extreme temperatures, increased operation safety with reduced risk, no wear and longer service life, superior and longer tightness, reduced operating costs due to higher CVs, lower torques and a longer service life. These advantages guarantee 100% tightness, a longer lifetime and therefore lower total ownership costs. We comply with the highest quality standards and certifications to meet the most demanding international requirements. If you cannot find the certificate you require on our website, then simply get in contact with us. The quadax valve is made in Germany using 5-axis machining centers that meet the highest demands on casting quality and precision in product production. The high degree of accuracy during the assembly and testing process for a guaranteed quality product makes quadax the most innovative solution on the valve market. Quadax 4 offset butterfly valves, precision made in Germany and distributed by our qualified sales and service partners in more than 26 countries.
Okay, we'll continue to the third session. In the third session, Mr. Timo Abel, as the technical project manager of the Muller quadax, will deliver material related to the quadax valve. Before Mr. Timo delivers this presentation, I will read his brief curriculum vitae. Mr. Timo Abel has the experience in Muller quadax from 2008 until now. From July 2008 until February 2012, he is as inside sales. From March 2012 until December 2016 as a technical sales support. From January 2017 until January 2020 as a project coordinator, and from February 2020 until now as a technical project manager. That is a brief curriculum vitae of Mr. Timo Abel. We again remind you that the question link in the Google form will be sent via chat while Mr. Timo delivers the material. For ladies and gentlemen who want to submit questions related to the material presented, please fill out the Google form and do not send questions via chat. So that the committee can easily combine all the questions. Google form will be closed 1 minute after presentation end. It is time for the presentation by Mr. Timo. You have 25 minutes to deliver the material, and now, Mr. Timo, this is your time.
So thanks a lot for the introduction. I will prepare now the presentation. I will start it. I hope you can see the presentation.
I can see, Mr. Timo.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So again, thanks for the short introduction already from your side. As you have explained, I am having more than 10 years experience in the valve business in different positions. My position in quadax now since more than 2 years as a technical project manager. For me, yeah, the technology with the quadax was very interesting, of course, from the beginning. It's a very quick growing company. Yeah, and I will show you about the quadax valve a little bit more into detail. And of course, I hope you will be also fascinated by our technology. And yeah, if any questions we can discuss then, of course, afterwards. So quadax has been outsourced from coax, as Umut has explained it already before. I mean, we belong still to the coax group, but our company itself has been outsourced and operates as an independent company since 2017. But the valve itself, it has been introduced into the market already in 2009. We are specialized and we only manufacture metal-to-metal seated butterfly valves. And during the development of our valve, we checked more or less the status quo, what was available on the market. We checked triple offset valves, which is a design from already 1960s, which is a good design, but it still has friction during opening and closing, which more or less results in a reduced service life. And triple offset valves have problems when it comes to extreme applications like cryogenic, or in general when it comes to different temperatures in the process. About the quadax purpose, the benefits of our valve. Yeah, you have heard about it in the video already shortly. I want to tell a little bit more in which applications it makes sense to use the quadax valve. Of course, we are talking about extreme applications. For example, when it comes to superior tightness or high pressure applications, or extreme temperature ranges. Our valve is bubble tight according to the DEN 12266 norm, which is more demanding as, for example, the ANSI class 6 or the API 598, which is maybe known to a lot of people. We are with our valve, even in high temperature or cryogenic applications, zero leakage. And which is of course important for all the operators, we have an increased operation safety due to the high quality of the valve, which results in less maintenance and less downtimes. We are having with our round seat seal geometry, we have reduced operating costs. This comes for example, from higher kV values or lower torque values, and again, a longer service life compared to valves from competition, for example. Before I will go a little bit more into detail about our product itself, I will I will show you a little bit about different applications where we are pretty strong in. I will have here this slide where we're talking about an overview in general about different applications where quadax valves are installed. And after that, I have selected 4 applications to go a little bit more into detail. So we are pretty strong in the energy sector, talking about power generation, district heating, thermosolar, or LNG applications, but also technical gases. I mean, one of our biggest customers are, for example, Linde, Air Liquide, Air Products, or Messer, where they are using our valves for handling oxygen, nitrogen, helium, and all those technical gases. We are in the chemical sector, in refineries, petrochemical, especially always when it's about higher pressure ranges or also temperature ranges. We are delivering our valves into cryogenic applications. We have a special version for cryogenic requirements. Our valves can be used even in hydrogen application, liquid hydrogen applications up to minus 270 degrees, but also for liquid oxygen, LNG, liquid nitrogen, and so on. Lately, we're also expanding our market, especially at the moment in the US, for the private companies in aerospace. This is a market which is growing a lot. A lot of people are talking about SpaceX and those companies. They are using our valves not in the rocket itself, but in the ground station. So the valves are installed in launch pads for refueling the engine of rockets. Also here we are talking about liquid oxygen, liquid nitrogen, or liquid natural gas, liquid hydrogen. So those are an overview about our applications where our valves are used. And now as I said, I have selected 4 applications to show you a little bit more into detail about our capabilities. This here is, for example, that was a case at BASF in Malaysia, where the valve is installed between a reactor and a cooler, where they had leakage problems with the existing valve from our competition, and they were looking for a better solution to solve this problem. And it's quite a big valve. It's a DN 900 36-inch class 150 double flange valve, as you can see on the drawing. The service in this case was for hydrocarbons with temperature up to 345 degrees Celsius. We have delivered pretty much a standard version of our quadax valve. It was material was in WCB. The seat itself is Inconel material. A lot of triple offset valves are with stellite, which is not necessary with our valve because we have, due to our round seat seal, I will talk a little bit about this more in detail afterwards, because of our round seat seal and a round seat, we have no friction during opening and closing the valve. So with our valve, a stellite seat is not necessary. And we have the advantage of the Inconel seat, which has a better chemical resistance compared to stellite. Other than that, it was a graphite seat seal, which is pretty standard. Main advantages of this valve is it's friction free, so no friction during opening and closing the valve. It's a reduced risk of failure because of no wear and tear during opening and closing, and therefore a longer service life and reduced maintenance costs. Again, that was a specific case where the customer came to us and said that they have problems with a triple offset valve from another brand which had leakage issues, and more or less asked us or if we have any more advanced technology what we can offer. And finally we supplied the valve in 2020, and since then the problems in these specific applications has been solved. And as you can see from this recommendation also from the client, they are very happy with the valve, with the performance of the valves, and where the triple offset valve has been replaced. I mean, those are main markets for us, is where triple offset valves are installed or required, specified. This is also where quadax comes into the game. Second application I would like to show you here. I have a short video. I hope you can see this very well. I will run it now. But first about the application. I mean, this is a 20-inch DIN 500 valve, which is pretty big. I mean, maybe you cannot really see that on the presentation, but it's a DIN 500 valve with a pneumatic Pro Control actuator with damping features. That valve was for Atlas Copco, and the application was is a geothermal steam application where the valve is installed in front of a turbine, which is powered by butane. And the valve operates as an emergency shutdown valve, and 90% of the closing is extremely quick, so it's not even a half a second, and that is for a DIN 500 valve. You need to imagine it has a damping feature, so the last 10% is a slower closing action, so that the disc won't get stuck into the seat. And we had delivered the valve with additional sealed bearing designs to support the shaft area and the bearings. I will show you the video. So I hope you can see it, and you need to imagine it's a DIN 500 valve and closing really extremely quick. So what we have delivered here was, again, with the Inconel seat, sealed bearing designs, and a quick a pneumatic Pro Control actor with damping features for this quick action. Again, here our valve, no friction during opening and closing, and the safety features are pretty much the same as I had in the previous application. Application 3 I would like to show is actually, that was a valve which has been supplied to Indonesia. That was for PT Sulfindo, petrochemical plant, and the process here was to store ethylene in cryogenic tanks, and the service conditions are ethylene at minus 129 degrees Celsius. We have delivered a special cryogenic version with special cleaning, oil and grease free assembly. In this case, it was an 8-inch DIN 200 valve. It's a cryogenic version, means the valve has a stem extension, so that the actuator is, in this case, a gearbox, is away from the cold media or from the process. we have a stainless steel valve, and we have an Inconel seat again, and an Inconel O-ring seat seal. I will go a little bit into detail about the different seat seal options we have with our valve later on when we are talking about the product. And yeah, main advantages, again, friction-free, but also here talking about low temperature or differential temperature, we have a homogeneous shrinkage and expansion due to the same wall thickness in the seat area, and the valve is tight below the minus 250 degrees Celsius, so it's up to minus 270 degrees Celsius actually. Application 4 I would like also to show you is also a cryogenic application. In this case, I'll tell you a little bit more about LNG applications. LNG applications, we have also different possibilities. Material of the valve housing or body is normally CF8M or CF3M material. We have different valve versions. I mean, if it's butt weld or flanged versions, there are different possibilities from our side. We have the Inconel seat and Inconel seat seal again. We have a shaft extension, which is available in different lengths. We have graphite seat seals or graphite packing. There's an additional graphite packing on top, so that the valve, in case of any freeze of the packing material, that you have an additional support, and the valve is still fire safe conform due to the graphite material. We have friction free again, so no friction during opening and closing the valve. Short animation here also about this special version. It's a top entry valve, which is very often in LNG terminals. The requirements are that valves needs to be welded into the pipe system, but you still need to have access to maintain the valve or to check if everything in the seat area or seat seals are still in good conditions. So we have on the market, there are, for example, side entry valves, but there you have the problem that you don't have a good access to the actual trim. So we have another solution. It's a top entry valve. I will show you the video so you can turn the disc 180 degrees so that you can actually remove all the internals from the valve while the valve still is welded into the pipe, so you don't have to cut anything out of the pipe system. You can remove the cover flange and have access to all the internals. You can maintain the valve. You can just to have a look to see if still is everything in order and that the valve is still actually working fine. So there are a lot of possibilities, and you have a good access to actually the full trim. And yeah, that's was also one of the reasons in a project we had in 2020, or it started in 2019, 2020. We had a huge project at an LNG terminal in this was for gate terminal, so it's a location in Europe, in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. A huge terminal, import terminal, where we have delivered 42 cryogenic valves in class 150, and from sizes from DN 80 up to DN 900. But that was an existing terminal, and the customers, they were using triple offset valves from competition, but they were facing also leakage problems, and they were looking to upgrade the existing valves. And more or less, we have been only awarded to the project after we had been successful in certain tests, which were more or less under the requirements, of course, from the customer. So it was not a standard cryogenic test. It was a way more demanding test. And only if we will be more or less successful with this test, the message was to us, only if we are successful, yeah, we will get the project. So I will show you a little bit about these tests, what we have done for the customer. So it was a combined test. So test number 1 was a thermal cycle with fugitive emission test. So it was 10 thermal cycles, and it was at minus 196 degrees and ambient temperature. So we had a cycle, one cycle with 2 different temperature phases. And the result in this case here, after 10 thermal cycles, we did external leakage tests. You see here in this table, you see what is allowed according to the BS 6364 norm. We were always way under this, so we were way better in performing this than what is allowed according to the BS norm. So the external leakage test, so they were checking on on the stem, on the bonnet, but also on the bottom where the cover plate is. That was where the external leakage had been tested. But that was only test number 1. After that, following to that, test 2, an endurance test we had followed. It was an endurance test with 500 cryogenic mechanical cycles at minus 196 degrees. So we used helium as test medium and liquid nitrogen for cooling down the valve. So 500 mechanical cycles, so it was a pretty demanding test, but that was more or less the specification from the customer. And also here you can see there's a certain leakage allowed according to the BS 6364 norm. In this case, I mean, the test was with a DN 500, a 20-inch glass 150 valve. And in this size, the internal seed leakage is allowed with 3,000 milliliters per minute. But actually, after the 500 mechanical cycles, we had 0 milliliters per minute, so 0 leakage. Even the norm allows a way higher amount, what is still into the norm or into the standard. So you can see here, after the different number of cycles, at the beginning we had some leakage, but again, this leakage, 590 milliliters, is still way below what is allowed according to the norm. And after the 500 cycles, where the seed seal, the Inconel O-ring, perfectly fitted to the seed, we didn't had any leakage again anymore. And again, it was really a challenging test, and also the test institute we were working together with, they more or less told us they had never seen a cryogenic valve performing in such a demanding test as we did with our top entry valve. Here you see a picture. That was the biggest valve we have supplied in the project. It's a DN 900, a 36-inch valve. See, it's Patrick. It's our managing director next to the valve. So you can you see how big the valve were in this project. So it was really an interesting, but it was also a challenging project. But yeah, at the end we were delivering pretty successful, and the customer is happy with what they have received from us in this demanding application. So that was mainly about different applications, an overview about applications. Now I want to show you or tell you a little bit about the valve itself. Yeah, the valve is made in Germany at all the departments like production, assembly, quality assurance with all the test benches are at the same location, all in Germany, south of Germany. We have 8 turning machines, 7 milling machines, 5 axis machining centers. But yeah, all this is more or less increasing. We are at the moment also building a new assembly hall because of the success of the valve. I mean, the numbers are increasing because we get such a positive feedback from the market. I would like to show you a little bit about previous designs. I mean, valve designs, which are of course still on the market, but which are way longer on the market than maybe our valve or our valve design. Talking about butterfly valves, I mean, the more or less the oldest design are centric butterfly valves, soft-seated valves, where the turning point is in the center of the seat and in the center of the pipe. Mainly used in less demanding applications with low pressure and temperature ranges. Then after that, we have a single offset design, which is, for example, a ball valve. A single offset design means that the turning point of the disc is is offset along the direction of the pipe. More or less, the ball valves, the invention of the ball valve more or less was a result that the centric butterfly valve is very limited in pressure and temperature. So that was more or less the main reasons to have other possibilities, also metal to metal seated possibilities, for example, with a ball valve. That was more or less why a single offset were required. A single offset, you see here, the seat seal is on the side, and this is more or less where the shaft is. After that, the following offsets which came afterwards, I mean, the reason of this is more or less always, or the target of the additional offsets is to reduce the friction. Because as you can see here, you have the ball, you have the seat seals on the sides, you have more or less 100%, you have always friction where the seat seals and the ball is in direct contact. The double offset you see here means the second offset is that the turning point of the disc is also offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge. So it's not in the middle, it's offset. So this is the second offset. And you see here, both sides in the seat have an angle. And you still have, especially in the inner side, you still have approx 30% of friction during opening and closing the valve. And as this 30% is still a lot of friction, more or less the triple offset valves came onto the market. Triple offset means that the tip of the cone, see the tip of the cone is this one, is offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge. So in this case, you have the tip of the cone is going into this direction, and with this, the tip of the cone is offset to the towards the outer edge. And the triple offset valves, they have a conical seat, and you can see it here. It's one straight side and one with an angle. It's way less friction compared to a double offset valve, but you still have, due to this to the conical seat, you still have approx 3 to 5% of friction. It's a complex geometric design, and it's way more challenging to machine this design compared to a double offset valve. Here you see this is more or less the seat of a triple offset valve, and you see already now the 4 offset, our round seat seal, or the round seat. I will show you 2 animations of the difference of a 3 offset and sorry, that was one animation of a triple offset valve, how the machining process is, and how you see or to better understand what the triple offset, the third offset means. I mean, the third offset, the tip of the cone is offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge, and then you need to machine, of course, the seat, and the result of this is that a round cone sliced results in an elliptical shape. This is more or less the result of the machining process, and the result is that the seat in a triple offset valve is elliptical. And in my next animation, you see the difference. It's now our idea was during the development was to go another way. I mean, our process begins with an elliptical cone shape, which will be machined to a round seat geometry. Same as with a triple offset valve, the tip of the cone is tilted to align with the pipe wall, and then when you slice it, an elliptical output cone results into a round seat. So this is more or less the difference in between a triple and a 4 offset valve. I will show a little bit more into the next slide. I mean, triple offset valves are already since 1960 on the market, and in the meanwhile, the machining process has been changed. I mean, we are using state-of-the-art 5-axis machining centers, and we have the possibility to do this performance in terms of the round seat. We don't have the main advantage versus a triple offset valve is that we don't have any friction during opening and closing. We have same wall thickness around the seat, which is very important when talking about temperature differential. And we have the possibility to have different seat seal solution. That is also a short animation where you can see when we are talking about friction. So you see during opening and closing, you have a contact between seal and seat in a certain area. It's way reduced compared to double offset valve, but still more friction compared to our design. Now you will see the animation of our solution, of the 4 offset solution, where there is no friction at all during opening and closing. So only when the valve, of course, is fully closed, but not during the opening and closing process at all. Yeah, we have talked now a lot about the different offsets, which is sometimes a little bit difficult to understand. So I have here, just a short slide where I want to say that it's just a matter on how something is going to be machined, which is a result if something is at the end round or elliptical, which in this case or in our case can make a big difference when we are talking about well performing and a seat or seat shield geometry. That's about the valve itself, how the valve is built. You have the seat seal here, which is clamped with the clamp ring on the disc. It's a metal seal, and there are different options available. We have a graphite lamella, we have an all-metal lamella, and we have an Inconel O-ring for different applications. Graphite lamella is the standard for standard applications. All metal lamella we use especially when it comes to wet gas applications, like in steam application. And we have an Inconel O-ring solution, especially for extreme or hot temperature or cryogenic applications. The advantage here is that it's a spring-loaded O-ring to compensate temperature fluctuations, and it has a small contact surface for a higher surface pressure. The valve itself is available in different body styles, in different face-to-face lengths, flanged, welded, or the top entry version what we have, what I've showed you. But the internal about the trim is and the seat seals is always the same. About tightness definition, I've talked a little bit about this already at the beginning. Our valves are rated according to the EN 12266 norm, which is more demanding than the API 598. So we are covering also the other standards. But yeah, our valve is, there's no visible loud leakage, and we test all our valves during the assembling. The other standards allow, depending on the size, a certain leakage. Yeah, about certificates, we fulfill pretty much all the standards. All the certificates are available on our homepage. If there's anything else you require, yeah, just get in contact with us. Yeah, this is more, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. I'll just have, yeah, what we had at the beginning. I just want to make a quick summary where it does make to use quadax, of course, when it comes to superior tightness requirements in cryogenic applications. The valve is bubble tight in both directions up to the full pressure, which is not the case to double offset valves. So bubble tight in standard applications, but also cryogenic applications. We more or less, we fulfill extreme temperature ranges, so up to 800 degrees, but also in the cryogenic range, we have extreme pressure ranges. Increased operation safety due to no friction. At the end, it's a high quality product, and it results in a longer service life. And reduced operating costs means due to higher kV values, lower torque values, less maintenance costs. It's a solution also to reduce operating costs in general. Yeah, that was a quick overview about our unique valve design. We would like to solve problems you are facing in severe applications. And yeah, from my side, thanks for joining this webinar. And of course, we look forward to work with you in future projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timo, for your presentation that explained what products are produced by Sorry. Are you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation that explained what products are produced by quadax and where these valves are used in the industry. In some cases, I have seen that quadax produce valves that are used in the extreme condition. That's good. Interesting presentation. Thank you for this presentation,
Yep.
Mr. Timo.
You're welcome.
Okay, we will continue to the other session, the discussion session. But before this discussion session begin, we will play the following ice-breaking video. Please, committee.
The quadax 4-offset metal-to-metal butterfly valve is designed for a wide range of extreme applications. These include those involving technical gases, LNG and LPG systems and low temperatures, as well as cryogenic applications, solar thermal energy, power generation, pulp and paper, refineries and petrochemicals, oxygen applications, district heating, and a whole lot more. Wherever the highest level of long-term tightness is required, despite high or low temperatures and pressure differences, you can benefit from a cost-saving process with maximum safety for the entire installation. Our butterfly valve is designed for both on-off and control applications. The term offset refers to every distance, angle or deviation to a central physical point. So what are the 3 offsets? First, the turning point of the disc is axially offset along the direction of the pipe. Second, the turning point of the disc is radially offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge. Third, the seat has a conical shape where the tip of the cone is offset from the center of the pipe towards the outer edge. Therefore, by definition, all triple offset valves with a circular basis cone result in an elliptical narrow seat in the valve body. The quadax 4-offset butterfly valve design has an elliptical output cone. The cut at a specific angle results in a rounder and thus larger sealing area with uniform material thickness. With the benefit of higher CV values, lower torques, friction-free operation, no wear on the sealing area during the closing process, and a homogeneous expansion and shrinking of the sealing materials. This is the ideal design to easily handle extreme delta T values by ensuring reliable tightness. The valve is available for temperature ranges from -270 to 800 degrees Celsius or -454 to +1472 degrees Fahrenheit and up to DN 1800 or 72 inches. It is tight in both directions up to a full pressure of 160 bar and 2320 psi. Apart from the material selection, the media can also be managed with zero leakage by using different fully laminated stainless steel sealings or with a patented Inconel O-ring for the most demanding applications. All of them are completely round. A floating disc and a shaft with no deflection when faced with high-pressure media complements the 4-offset design. This design allows handling of the most extreme pressure ranges and delta T values by ensuring that the valve is always 100% tight. The 4 main benefits provided by quadax are safe use in even the most extreme temperatures, increased operation safety with reduced risk, no wear and longer service life, superior and longer tightness, reduced operating costs due to higher CVs, lower torques and a longer service life. These advantages guarantee 100% tightness, a longer lifetime and therefore lower total ownership costs. We comply with the highest quality standards and certifications to meet the most demanding international requirements. If you cannot find the certificate you require on our website, then simply get in contact with us. The quadax valve is made in Germany using 5-axis machining centers that meet the highest demands on casting quality and precision in product production. The high degree of accuracy during the assembly and testing process for a guaranteed quality product makes quadax the most innovative solution on the valve market. Quadax 4 offset butterfly valves, precision made in Germany and distributed by our qualified sales and service partners in more than 26 countries.
Okay, now we enter to the discussion session, and I will refer the question from the participant in Indonesia and in English. For Mr. Indra, maybe I will refer the question from participant in Indonesia, but for Mr. Umut and Mr. Timo, I will deliver the question from participant in English. There is some question from participant, but we have just 40 minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes to this session, and if there is some question that cannot answered in this session, we hope presenter can help us to answer the question in writing. Could you help us, Mr. Umut and Mr. Timo?
Yes, of course. I mean, of course, also if there are questions at a later stage, please feel free to contact. We will be very happy to reply or to get in discussions about whatever you have. But if there are questions right now, feel free. Everything else we do at a later stage.
Okay, Mr. Timo. Well, okay, we will start to read the question from the participant.
Okay.
First, pertama untuk Pak Indra, ada sekitar 5 pertanyaan. Kita lihat waktu yang tersedia. Kalau memungkinkan kita jawab semua, tapi kalau tidak memungkinkan, mohon Pak Indra bisa membantu kami untuk menjawabnya secara tertulis, supaya kita bisa kirimkan jawaban Bapak ke semua peserta. Baik, Pak Indra, ini pertanyaan pertama dari Pak Awal Wahid dari Semen Tonasa. Mungkin ini tidak cocok untuk, tidak persis sama untuk Pak Ani ya. Atau ini pertama dari Pak Agung Haryono dulu, dari PT Siliwangi Binangun Mandiri. Apakah Bapak bisa jelaskan untuk valve DN800 ini akurasinya seperti apa Pak dalam reaktor Bapak? Apakah dia akurat untuk membuka tutup reaktor Bapak? Silakan Pak Indra. Pak Indra. Masih mute Pak. Masih mute Pak Indra. Pak Indra. Pak Indra? Oke, mungkin Pak Indra. Okay, I will try to read the question from participant to Mr. Umut. Mr. Umut, there is 3 questions for you. The first is from Mr. Aryadi, consultant, director of consulting. The question is, what product produced by coax that used in Indonesia?
I think for this question, our colleagues from Singapore, Mr. Zenhao, could provide detailed information. Because they are our subsidiary in Singapore and are responsible for the Asian market.
Okay.
Now?
Now?
Please unmute.
So now?
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay.
now.
Thank you for helping me to unmute. So, okay. Can you repeat the question?
Okay. There's a question from Pak Aryadi. The question is what the product produced by coax that used in Indonesia?
I see. Okay. Well, for coax valve itself, we have a large range of products. So within Indonesia itself, we already serve multiple industries, starting from the Semen industries to also chemicals and all this. So each individual industry will also have different applications, and based on the applications, what coax does is that we do the selection of the valves for them based on their application, so that we can actually provide a solution. And for the types of valve that we have provided, we normally do, or what we have is normally our MK or VMK range, which is our solenoid valve, coaxial solenoid valve. So these are the ranges, as well as some other more niche kind of applications for maybe vacuum pump applications that we serve. But overall, there's really a lot of applications that we have, and each one of them we choose different products for it.
Okay. It means that there are many products that used in Indonesia.
Yes.
This is how I know. Okay. I hope this your answer is answering the question from Mr. Aliadi. The next question from Mr. Marui. The question is, what product produced from coax that used in the aerospace and agro industry? Aerospace industry and agro industry. What type of product used in aerospace and agro industry?
In the second, can you repeat the second industry?
Agro industry. Aerospace and agro industry.
Okay.
Maybe you can see in your video or your presentation.
For the aerospace industry, we are selling a lot of solenoid and externally controlled valves. Depends also on the customer. In this sectors, it's kind of a development of new technologies. So we are working with NDAs, but most of the valves we are in, for example, in test benches for the aerospace sector, or in fueling stations, like already said, for gases like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. This kind of valves we provide. But in most of the terms, it is quite special construction with NDAs, and most of this kind of variations or valve types you cannot find on the website. But if you get in contact with us, I think we find a solution also for your application. And I think for the agro business, most of the valves are for supply of water, for example. This kind of valves we provide. It's the first thing which comes to my mind right now. But if there is a special case or use case, just feel free to write in short mail, and we will check it and come back to you with detailed information.
Okay, I think there's quite a lot of product that used in the aerospace and agro industry. That's right.
Yes, it's
Okay. And the last question for coax, yeah, for Mr. Umut
yeah.
is from Mr. Ahmad Sumardi, PT Semen Busoa, from Semen, PT Semen Busoa. Could you explain me how to select the right butterfly valve in the industry? How to select the butterfly valve industry?
Thanks for this question, but I think it will be a part of Timo once, because Quadax is responsible
Okay,
for our butterfly.
I see.
But
I see. Okay,
okay,
Mr. Timo, could you answer this question?
Yeah, I think this is my turn. No, it's correct. That this is the butterfly valve part is the quadax part. So, well, quadax, the butterfly, depending on what application. I mean, for example, you don't use a metal-to-metal seated butterfly valve when it's how to say a less demanding application. So if it's only a liquid media, for example, water at 5 bar, 20 degrees Celsius, that's definitely nothing for a metal-to-metal seated butterfly valve. So it's definitely depending on the application itself, mainly, of course, about the surface conditions and the media. So if it is high pressure, so soft-seated centric butterfly valves can handle normally maybe up to 16 bar, in some cases maybe 25 bar, but everything below that is not possible for a centric soft-seated valve. So talking about high pressure, high temperature, but also low temperature, you need a metal-to-metal seated valve. So this is where our valve, or maybe also a ball valve, is more or less an option to select. But with a ball valve, you have the problem, or the thing is with the friction. So that's what I had in my presentation. You have a lot of friction during opening and closing because the ball is always in contact with the seat area or the seat seals. So this is a huge disadvantage of ball valves, and also when it comes to space restrictions, because a ball valve is, and also, for example, a gate valve is pretty huge. So a butterfly valve is way more compact, and especially in bigger sizes, also from a cost perspective, way cheaper than a ball valve. But yeah, again, so where a metal-to-metal seated valve makes sense is when it's high pressure, high temperature, low temperature, extremely low temperature, cryogenic applications. And you need a smaller size of valve, a more compact solution compared to a ball valve or a gate valve, for example. We have already replaced a lot of gate valves with butterfly valves, for example, when it comes to space restrictions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Timo. I hope this answered the question from Mr. Ahmad. And I think this is question from me to Mr. Umut. How can coax valve handle such high pressure with such a small actuator? Mr. Umut? Mr. Umut, still mute.
Yes. Thanks. If possible, I can share my screen.
Excuse me?
If possible, I can share my screen. I just want to show you a picture to.
Oh yeah. Okay.
To answer the question, because I think it will be easier to understand.
Okay, please share your video or your picture.
Yes, there is it. The pressure balance design, which we have here, you have the control tube, and the surfaces, which I show you with my cursor, are the same, have the same, and so the pressure inside of the valve is balanced. So you don't need high pressure or high forces to actuate the control tube, even with solenoid or with a pneumatic cylinder. So you can shape the actuator around the pipe in small sizes, because you only have to overcome the friction of the sealings to switch the valve, even in a vacuum or in high pressure. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make an effect on the switching behavior, which kind of pressure level you have in the pipeline. So that's the main I say main advantage which our inventor, Mr. Gottfried Müller, created within the valve. One moment, I just go back. Yes, that's the main point of the pressure balance design. It's you don't require any delta P to switch the valve, and therefore you don't need high forces, and you can create the actuator very compact around the pipe.
Okay, Mr. Umut, very interesting technology thing. Okay, back to the Mr. Indra, Pak Indra. Pak Indra. Ya, Pak Indra, ada beberapa pertanyaan untuk Bapak. Bisa bantu jawab, Pak Indra. Silakan di-unmute dulu. Masih mute, Pak. Pak Indra.
Halo.
Ya.
Halo.
Sudah masuk,
Ya.
Pak.
Oke.
Menggema, Pak, mungkin Bapak membuka dua, ini salah satu dimatikan, Pak.
Ya, sudah dengar, Pak.
Oke, Pak.
Oke ya.
Ada pertanyaan, Pak, dari Bapak Agung Haryono. Mungkin Bapak bisa jelaskan tentang akurasi valve DN800, Pak, untuk penggunaan di dalam reaktor tangki Bapak itu. Apakah akurat ya beroperasinya gitu, Pak?
Ya, jadi terima kasih Pak Agung ya, yang memberikan pertanyaan. Pak Agung Haryono, terima kasih atas pertanyaan yang disampaikan, bahwa memang butterfly valve ini adalah yang kami pergunakan itu hanya on off, Pak. Jadi bukan kontrol. Ya, jadi ya apa namanya, hanya on off saja. Begitu. Jadi buka 100%, close 100%. Itu yang ada di kami, Pak.
Oke, Pak. Itu mungkin menjawab.
Ya. Kemudian pertanyaan yang kedua, bagaimana kendala saat proses opening seperti macet karena kotor, korosif, kebocoran karena scratch, dan lain-lain, serta bagaimana solusinya? Apakah tidak ada backup valve auto bypass saat proses maintenance atau penggantian agar valve tidak terjadi breakdown atau stop produksi plus minus 3 jam MTTR? Ya, ini kita tidak bisa, Pak. Ya, karena dalam siklus kami, ini seperti yang tadi kita sampaikan, itu tidak ada chance untuk redundant valve, gitu. Sehingga, ya ini Pak, karena itu justru akan mempengaruhi proses membuat selulosa yang masuk ini, ya, kalau Bapak bisa lihat di presentasi ini, itu akan membuat blok salah satu dari lubang inlet ini. Kira-kira seperti itu, Pak. Maka tidak ada redundant untuk ini, untuk valve. Kemudian pertanyaan berikutnya.
Yang cocok dengan Pak Indra aja, Pak. Mungkin, Pak.
Nah, ini mengapa menggunakan bottle valve tidak menggunakan tipe lain, misal navigate valve, gate valve, globe valve, ball valve, atau lainnya? Tidak bisa, Pak. Jadi untuk yang lain, potensi choking, ngeblok, itu justru lebih gede, lebih besar, dan itu tidak memungkinkan untuk dipergunakan. Itu, ya, sehingga memang yang applicable, ya, bottle valve. Seperti itu.
Jadi
kemudian,
ini bukan pilihan, Pak, ya? Hanya satu yang memungkinkan. Bukan
hanya
pilihan,
satu yang memungkinkan, betul.
Oke,
itu, Pak. Karena kita memasukkan parutan kelapa, selulosa itu sebanyak sekitar 8 ton, Pak, dalam satu proses. Ya, kemudian yang kedua ini pertanyaan dari Bapak Awal. Terima kasih Bapak Awal atas pertanyaannya. Jenis material liner valve yang cocok atau tahan terhadap pressure sampai 2 bar apa, Pak? Ini tergantung, kalau kita memilih material ini kan tergantung dari medium, kemudian temperatur dan pressure, Pak. Ya. Nah, yang kami pergunakan di tempat kami ini adalah materialnya Phaeton. Ya, di mana Phaeton itu akan mampu terhadap salah satu material yang mampu untuk menahan CS2 yang dalam bentuk gas pada saat proses reaksi itu ya. Jadi Phaeton inilah yang terbaik untuk saat ini, sampai saat ini yang terbaik untuk kami, karena dia juga untuk selari itu juga bagus material Phaeton ini. Kemudian pertanyaan keduanya, adakah valve khusus untuk material fluid dan non fluid? Apakah perbedaannya? Nah, ini yang dimaksud mungkin yang fluid itu dalam bentuk fluida, yang lainnya non-fluid itu mungkin gas, gitu ya maksudnya ya Pak ya. Ya. Nah, perbedaannya ya tentunya dari material, kemudian temperatur, serta jenis mediumnya. Nah, kemudian tadi kalau kita lihat bahwa ada semacam ATEX gitu ya, kalau dari segi safety, itu ATEX 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sampai 6, kira-kira seperti itu. Dan itu yang membedakan dari material yang akan kita pilih, Pak. Nah, kenapa kita pakai Phaeton? Itu ya karena kalau di ATEX itu kita CS2 atau karbon disulfid itu termasuk ATEX 6. Itu yang paling tinggi, Pak. Ya, jadi dari segi safety, ATEX 6, fluida CS2 ini itu yang paling baik. Dan CS2 ini itu adalah satu fluida yang jika berat jenisnya itu lebih besar dari air, sehingga dia di covernya pakai air di dalam penyimpanannya, tetapi begitu dia dikeluarkan dari air, dia menjadi gas. Begitu, Pak. Ya, jadi pertanyaan yang kedua, valve khusus atau material fluid non-fluid ini apakah perbedaannya? Ya, perbedaannya dari material. Itu, Pak. Ya, saya kira itu, Pak, yang bisa saya sampaikan. Mudah-mudahan apa yang saya sampaikan ini bisa menjadi manfaat bagi kita. Tetapi jika Bapak-Bapak mungkin ada pandangan lain, kami juga terbuka. Terima kasih,
Pak Indra. Terima kasih Pak Indra atas jawabannya. Mungkin
Pak.
Pertanyaan yang lain ini spesifik untuk quadax dan coax barangkali. Okay, we will continue to other question for Mr. Timo. Okay, Mr. Timo.
Yes.
Okay, the first question is from Mr. Rudi Sutanto from ISBI. It's a long question. as the viscose plant has problem with butterfly valve, mostly is the wearing out of liner of body valve. Maybe because of the liner are made from rubber material. Meanwhile, from quadax product, the valve is made from the totally metal to metal contact. So, with that problem above, is quadax have solution for that problem?
I mean, we need to look into detail about the application. I mean, we would need, you know, what exactly the media the valve will see. I mean, what temperature, what pressure. But in general, what I understood from the presentation, I mean, there was a little bit issue with the language, of course, so I didn't get everything from the presentation. But what I have seen from the presentation from SPV, or what I understood, was the application is with cellulose. And I know from application, I can tell you about is from applications we know where the quadax valve is installed is in an application, also pulp and paper application with cellulose in combination with steam. So that is more or less a soft boiled mixture at, I don't know, 150, 200 degrees Celsius. And our valve with the all metal seat seal, so metal sealing compared to a liner, is working very well. We have additionally, we have the option to deliver our valve with a sealed bearing design. Means we have a possibility to seal the bearings, which is also an issue. So it's not only the liner, I assume, which is maybe causing a problem at SPV, but maybe also the bearings. And we have the possibility with our valve to deliver the valve with an additional seal bearing design, what we call it, to so that no particles can get into the bearing area, because if there are any particles in the bearing area, this normally will cause that the torques of the valves are increasing a lot, and at some point it's not possible to operate the valve at all. And with this application, what you mentioned, I mean, as I understood, there is a problem with the liner, which is a very well-known or typical issue for, of course, soft-seated valves. And this there's definitely an advantage with our valve. But I mean, I have to say, having particles in the process is an issue with pretty much every valve design. I mean, if you're using a soft-seated valve, if you're using a ball valve, always when it comes to solid particles in the process, can be an issue, or is challenging for every valve, more or less. But I mean, we can look into this process a little bit more into detail afterwards. But I mean, what I can tell you is that with the application where we already have a good experience with our valve is this cellulose application in combination with steam, where it's more or less a soft boiled media at the end. And with our solution and with the all metal seat seal, it's working fine. So again, we can look into this afterwards a little bit more into detail. I mean, as I understood, this particular case of the case study was for a DN 800 valve. I don't know if there are maybe also smaller sizes in the process where they have the same issue, because maybe then we have a possibility. I mean, to start with a DN 800 valve, it's a huge valve. Maybe there are smaller valves in the same process where we can say, okay, we try it. We send a trial valve to test in this specific application. But this is something we need to evaluate and to discuss afterwards more into detail.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Timo. I hope your answer Mr. Rudi question. The next question is from Mr. Nuri Setiawan from IT Semen Tunggal Prakasa from Semen Industri. The question is, what type of the valves can be used in the cement industry that use the material or the product is where the product or material is very abrasive? Mr. Timo.
Was it now a question for butterfly valves, or about what sizes are we talking about? I mean, are we talking about small size valves? Are we big size valves? Or was it the question in general about abrasive media?
The abrasive media is a cement. You know, cement is an abrasive media that can make effect on the valve, I think.
So again, with abrasive media, I mean, it's normally not the right application for metal-to-metal seated valve. I mean, abrasive media means, for example, with small solid particles, like as you're talking about cement.
Yes.
This is normally not the right application for a butterfly valve, for metal-to-metal seated butterfly valve, because normally if you have abrasive media, I mean, the important thing normally is, of course, you increase normally the size of the valve to reduce the flow velocity, which is very important in such processes. But normally, if you're talking about abrasive media, you are using more material, even soft material. So either soft seated butterfly valves or even maybe diaphragm valves. This is normally a typical application for such valve. But for a metal to metal seated valve, if it's a high abrasive media, the metal to metal seated valve is not the right choice. But of course, also in the cement industry, there are also side processes. I mean, talking about gases or whatever in different processes. This is more or less where quadax can be, of course, used. But again, then we are not talking about abrasive medias.
Okay. Okay. The next question is from Mr. Hoodie 3. Oh no, from Mr. Dimas Gani. The question is, one of the quadax goals is cost reduction. What type of product have quadax implemented so far, and how can this product from quadax have an impact on lowering production costs?
I mean, we have already replaced, for example, a number of gate valves or also ball valves when we are talking about big sizes. I mean, we have the possibility to deliver pretty short of face-to-face dimensions, for example, which can have a positive effect on the total cost. But also a bigger advantage with our solution, especially if you compare it to a ball valve in the bigger sizes, is that we have lower torques compared to a ball valve, for example. And then you can use smaller actuators, and smaller actuators also results in lower costs. That is just one aspect about having, talking about lower costs. But also, I mean, we have a lot of customers, they are using our valve instead of, for example, double offset valves or whatever, because they are facing problems that certain valves, for example, in steam applications, that they are working maybe only for a very low time. So, and they see the high quality of our product. They see the longer service life of our product. They know we have a lot of different options depending on applications. That's why when we are getting requests, we are always asking for service conditions, because we want to select our best possible configuration based on the service. Talking for example about Steam applications, we have the possibility to deliver an all metal seat seal, whereas for example the competition of the triple offset valves, for example, they are mainly delivering their valve with a metal graphite seat seal, and they're talking about a wet gas application. Very often the issue is that the graphite of the seat seal gets washed out during the process, and after a certain time the valve is starting to leak. So that is also an advantage of our valve, or where we get the feedback from our clients, that if they use a quadax valve for more or less the same application where they have used before a double offset or a triple offset valve, that the valve is working way longer. They can have a longer operation time, and of course less shutdowns. So that's a perspective where we get the feedback, especially from the operators in the plants, why they prefer a high quality quadax product rather than for example a lot of triple offset valves from our competition. And that's more or less also a main advantage why we are talking about lower total costs of ownership.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Timo. And because of time limitation, I have two questions from me to you, Mr. Timo. Two questions: why does butterfly valve leak when having cryogenic media? And the second question: why is the valve stuck due to the dirty media?
Well, I'll start with the last question about the dirt media, because this is also what I was saying in this SPV case. I mean, dirt media, particles in the process. This is a big issue for every process or for every valve, and the main thing is that particles can get stuck into the bearing area. And then this can result that that you cannot operate, or that you have a very increased torques on the valve due to that. And that's why we have the option that we can deliver a seal bearing designs with additional packing rings to protect the upper and the lower bearings of the valve itself. So that was so about dirt media. And the first question that was, you mentioned about cryogenic application, yes. Right? Why yes. There is problem, or why there can be problems with butterfly valves in cryogenic applications, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
With cryogenic applications, it's also challenging for pretty much every valve design, and that was also one of the more or less the topics when we were checking the status quo before or during the development of our valve in 2007-8, when we were starting with the development process of our valve. We were checking what is on the market, what is used. I mean, we know that ball valves, triple offset valves are used in cryogenic applications, but we during our research, we more or less cover different problems with the existing solutions on the market. And especially about, for example, triple offset valves, the disadvantage or the thing is, due to the elliptical seat, they have a different wall thickness around the seat area, And this is a huge problem for conventional triple offset valves when you have this low temperature. And therefore, we see a big advantage with our valve, or we see that also from the test results we get, also what we had with this LNG gate terminal project. The big advantage of our solution is that we have this completely round seat geometry with a homogeneous wall thickness around or in the completely seat area, and we have our solution with the Inconel O-ring, which we use in such application as the seat seal. It's a spring-loaded Inconel O-ring, which has a small contact surface area only, but on the other hand, it has a very high increased surface pressure. And this is what we have experienced, the best solution on the market in cryogenic applications. And we have, meanwhile, not only this gate project, also, for example, to all these gas companies like Linde, where they have a lot of cryogenic process, and we are delivering since a number of years. We are their preferred supplier when it comes to metal seated valves, because they know that we have a solution which is working in those critical or in those tough cryogenic applications.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Timo, for your answering. And because of time limitation, the remaining question from the participant can not answer in this session. And so I hope you, Mr. Timo, Mr. Umut, and Pak Indra can help us to answering the remaining question from participants in writing. And so we can send all answering from you to all participants by email. And after this webinar, we will send all questions from participants to you, and please help us to answering that question in writing. And
yes,
once more,
feel
thank
free
you.
to share the questions with us. And also, of course, at a later stage, if you have any product issues when it comes to high pressure, high temperature, low pressure, then please get in contact with us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Timo. And once again, thank you for all presenters that join us to be a presenter in this webinar. And we hope we can collaborate again in the next webinar for Mr. Umut, Mr. Timo, and Pak Indra.
Yeah.
Once more, thank you. And terima kasih Pak Indra, dan saya kembalikan lagi acara ini ke Ibu Cartika. Silakan Bu Cartika.
Yeah, also
Baik.
from our side, thanks a lot, and have a
Please
good rest of the day in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Timo. And please still stay in your place, because we will take a picture before we close this webinar. Ya, silakan Bu Tika.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Arief. Di tangan saya, tapi sebelumnya saya ingin menginformasikan sedikit kepada para peserta webinar. Bagi yang ingin mendapatkan e-sertifikat, silakan untuk mengisi absen yang linknya sudah kami berikan di kolom chat. Baik, di tangan saya saat ini sudah ada 5 nama yang beruntung untuk mendapatkan souvenir menarik dari kami. kelima nama ini kami ambil dari para peserta yang memberikan pertanyaan kepada narasumber, dan kami ambil yang pertanyaan yang terbaik dari sekian banyak pertanyaan yang sudah masuk ke kami. Yang pertama, nama yang beruntung mendapatkan souvenir dari kami ada Bapak Agung Haryono dari PT Siliwangi Binangun Mandiri. Lalu yang kedua ada Bapak Fahrul Arifianto dari PT Semen Tonasa. Yang ketiga ada Bapak Ahmad Sumardi dari PT Semen Bosowa. Dan yang keempat ada Bapak Nuristiawan dari PT Indosmen. Dan yang terakhir ada Bapak Kamarudin dari PT Semen Tonasa. Selamat kepada para peserta yang mendapatkan souvenir menarik dari kami. Para peserta tadi dapat menghubungi panitia untuk mengirimkan alamat Bapak, agar kami dapat mengirimkan hadiahnya ke alamat Bapak dan Ibu. Baik, ini kami sudah ada di penghujung acara, tapi alangkah baiknya untuk kita mendengarkan sambutan penutup dari Direktur ISBI, Bapak Arief Syahlan, sekaligus moderator kita pada kesempatan siang ini. Kepada Bapak Arief, silakan untuk memberikan sambutan penutupnya, Pak.
Baik, sekali lagi kami ISBI pelaksana webinar ini mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua partisipan yang telah bergabung dalam webinar ini. Tentu kami berharap bahwa webinar yang kami laksanakan ini, terutama yang dengan materi valve ini, bermanfaat bagi Bapak Ibu peserta webinar ini, dan bagi Bapak Ibu yang tertarik untuk lebih jauh mendalami, mengetahui terkait dengan materi yang disampaikan oleh Mr. Umut dan Mr. Timo. Panitia nanti akan mengirimkan materi tersebut secara langsung ke masing-masing alamat peserta. Dan sekali lagi, mudah-mudahan materi yang disampaikan ini sangat bermanfaat untuk Bapak Ibu semua. Dan sekali lagi, bagi Bapak Ibu yang tertarik untuk mungkin mengetahui lebih detail atau mau membeli, silakan berhubungan dengan Pak Roy, ya barangkali Pak Roy yang di agen di Indonesia. Mungkin Pak Roy bisa membantu bagi peserta yang membutuhkan. Dan sekali lagi kami mengucapkan terima kasih atas partisipasi Bapak Ibu dalam webinar ini. Mohon maaf apabila ada salah kata dan kekurangan dalam pelaksanaan webinar ini. Tentu kami berharap ada masukan dari Bapak Ibu untuk kesempurnaan webinar kita berikutnya. Dan kami menunggu kehadiran Bapak Ibu pada webinar kami yang berikutnya. Mudah-mudahan bulan depan atau bulan Maret akan ada webinar berikutnya. Sekali lagi terima kasih dan mohon maaf atas segala kekurangan. Terima kasih. Silakan Bu Tika.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Arief atas sambutannya. Saat ini kita sekarang silahkan untuk para peserta untuk mengaktifkan videonya untuk kita foto bersama. You please open your video to take a picture.
Kita masuk.
Silahkan. Untuk panitia
untuk halaman 1 udah ya?
Untuk halaman 1 sudah. Next, untuk halaman berikutnya.
Satu. Oke.
Baik.
Halaman kedua.
Sekarang untuk halaman kedua, mohon untuk tetap mengaktifkan videonya.
Bapak Denny, Bapak Yusuf, silakan dibuka. Pak Hardo, dibuka Pak, videonya Pak. Pak Widi, mana Pak Widi? Pak Denny, Pak Yusuf. Ya. Halaman kedua ya Pak, senyum Pak, 1, 2, 3. Berikutnya ke layar 3, belum ada yang kebuka ini Pak. Pak Wahid, Pak Van, Pak Iklan, Pak Agus, Pak John Revel, Pak Mulyono, Pak Dan Ngaji, Pak Bangkit Priambodo, Yang terakhir, Pak Lili, Bu Sarah, Pak Bula, Bapak Ujang, Pak Ir mana Pak Ir? Oh nggak ada Pak. Oke, sudah.
Baik. Terima kasih semuanya. Mohon maaf, mudah-mudahan apa yang disampaikan pada kesempatan siang ini bermanfaat untuk kita semua. Dan mohon maaf apabila banyak kekurangan selama webinar ini berlangsung. Sehat selalu dan sampai bertemu di webinar ISBI berikutnya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sore.
Selalu. Terima kasih semua. All of you. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih Bapak, Ibu.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Terima kasih Pak Indra.
Thank you Pak. Sama Pak.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you Mbak Reni.
Halo.
Terima kasih Pak Ardo.
Iwan.
Terima kasih Bapak. Sampai ketemu lagi.
Terima kasih.
Thank you Mr. Umut dan Mr. Timo.
Terima kasih Pak Jokowi.
Have a good day.
Terima kasih Pak Eko.
Di sini.
Makasih ya Pak ya.
Pak Tor.
Pamit dulu Pak Arief. Iya, matur nuwun.
Salam sehat.
Pak Rudi, terima kasih Pak Rudi.
Terima kasih, sama-sama.
Pak Irianto, terima kasih.
Sama-sama Pak Indra. Sangat bermanfaat ini.
Pak.
Terima kasih Pak Indra.
Salam sehat.
Terima kasih Pak Timo.
Terima kasih
Pak
Janal.
Umut, terima kasih. Pak
Terima
Jang,
kasih.
terima kasih.
Stay healthy.
Ya.
Thanks a lot. Same.
Pak Indrianto.
Thank you very much. Thank you Mr. Sanhao.
Thank you.
Oke. Terima kasih Pak Arief.